Brother Zhang, is what you said true? If I go against my words, may I be struck by lightning. Aotian didn't doubt Zhang Mo's words, because at their cultivation level and status, there was no need for them to lie. Brother Zhang, I can promise you now that no matter when, Aoshue and Jihong will get married. However, I will rely on you in the battle of the 6 sects in a month. Under the temptation of the sovereign golden pill, Aotian, who had been hesitating, finally made up his mind. Not only would he agree to Aoshue and Zhang Jihong's wedding, but he had also secretly decided that no matter what happened, he would get rid of this boy. Brother Ao, don't worry. In the battle of the 6 sects in a month, as long as our sects work together, I would like to see who can snatch the sovereign golden pill from our hands. What if those 2 people appear? Although the 6 sects didn't say it explicitly, they had a tacit understanding that the older generation wouldn't participate in the battle of the 6 sects in a month. In other words, the people competing for the sovereign golden pill were the younger disciples of the 6 sects. Strictly speaking, they should be people on the Fengyan list. The disciples of the 6 sects occupied 80% of the Fengyan list, and only 20% was occupied by the secular world, which was the 100 battle ranking. On the Fengyan list, there were 2 strongest people, the first and second on the Fengyan list. Their strength was far beyond Zhang Jihong's, which was what Aotian was most worried about. Speaking of the 2 people, Zhang Mo's face also became solemn. The 6 sects would definitely send their strongest disciples to the Fengyan list. If the Thunder Breeze sect and the Blazing sect sent these 2 people, wouldn't it be troublesome? That's right, the first and second on the Fengyan list were from the Sound of Thunder sect and the Blazing sect respectively. This was the real reason why the Sound of Thunder sect and the Blazing sect were competing for supremacy. Aotian thought for a while and said, according to the rumors, these 2 people have been in seclusion for a long time. For them, as long as they don't take the initiative to come out, I believe the Sound of Thunder sect and the Blazing sect won't act recklessly. Yes, as long as those 2 people don't take action, with our combined strength, we will definitely be able to obtain the sovereign golden pill smoothly. In an instant, Zhang Mo and Aotian had reached a consensus. Just as the 2 of them were talking, Longao and Zhang Jihong had already started their battle. However, the gap between their realms was indeed difficult to make up for with other things. Longao was restrained in every way. If it wasn't for the dragon seal space helping him to block most of the power, Longao would have already fallen at this moment. A martial artist at the peak of the Earth's sovereign realm. Even so, Longao's strength had deeply shocked everyone. A metamorphosis martial artist was able to shake a martial artist at the peak of the Earth's sovereign realm. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, no one would have believed it. The power of the divine dragon arm combined with the god locking pearl was no small matter. In addition to the dragon seal space's resistance, Longao really resisted Zhang Jihong's attack. However, Longao was still very clear that if this continued, he would be the one to be defeated in the end. He might even lose his life. In order to end the battle quickly and regain the face that he had just lost, Zhang Jihong's attack was stronger than the previous one. The attack of a martial artist at the peak of the Earth's sovereign realm was really terrifying. Just the pressure of the aura alone wasn't something that Longao could withstand. Longao's strength could be considered to have completely conquered everyone. However, everyone was still very clear that Longao would definitely lose in the battle with Zhang Jihong. He wouldn't even be able to last 10 moves. Even so, everyone was still incomparably impressed by Longao. To be able to fight against a martial artist at the peak of the Earth's sovereign realm for so long, it could be said that no one had ever done it before. Pong. Longao was directly sent flying by Zhang Jihong's palm. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Longao endured his shaky body and forcibly held on. Longao was defeated. Everyone was very clear that Longao was still defeated in this battle. After this battle, everyone's attitude towards Longao had changed. Longao, you've lost, but I'll still give you a chance. Kneel down and break your own arms, then you can leave this place. Otherwise, I'll split you into 5 pieces and chop you into pieces. Do you believe me or not? Looking at Zhang Jihong's cold face, everyone couldn't help but shudder. It was simply too ruthless. Chapter 186. Kneel down. Break your arms. Zhang Zhihong was ruthless enough. If Longao really did that, not only would he lose face, but he would also lose his arms. At the very least, even if Longao did not agree, he had an excuse to kill Longao directly. Therefore, no matter what, it was impossible for Longao to leave Ghost King's sect in one piece. Zhang Zhihong, I haven't lost yet. With white hair and black clothes, Longao stood firmly and stared at Zhang Zhihong in front of him. Until now, he had not chosen to give up. This was Longao. No matter what happened, no matter when, he would not choose to give up. Seeing that Longao still did not choose to give up, everyone was a little moved. After all, everyone knew very well that if Longao continued to fight, he would definitely die. Didn't Longao know that? He was willing to sacrifice his life for the one he loved. This alone showed that Longao loved Aoshue more than Zhang Zhihong. Of course, Aotian also knew that Longao was stronger than Zhang Zhihong, but he still would not change his decision. First, the Golden Sun sect was behind Zhang Zhihong. Second, the temptation of the sovereign golden pill was so great that he could not choose to help Longao. As for Zhang Amo, his face was extremely gloomy. This battle had been delayed for too long. In other words, the longer this battle was delayed, the more the Golden Sun sect would lose face. Zhihong, end it quickly. Don't disgrace the sect. Nodding, Zhang Zhihong did not want to delay any longer. Without saying anything more, he rushed out directly. However, Zhang Zhihong left quickly and came back even faster. Zhang Zhihong came back not because of Longao's attack, but because Longao suddenly took out 2 drops of blood. He could clearly sense the momentum of the 2 drops of blood. Kylan blood and dragon blood. Kylan? Dragon? Everyone was incomparably shocked because everyone clearly knew what the Qilin's blood and the giant dragon's blood meant. As everyone knew, regardless of whether it was the Qilin clan or the Colossal Dragon clan, they were one of the most powerful clans in the world. It was precisely because of this that no one could understand why Longao would suddenly take out 2 drops of blood. Moreover, it was a drop of Colossal Dragon blood and a drop of Qilin blood. Of the 2 drops of blood in Longao's hands, the Qilin blood came from the Fire Qilin, while the giant dragon blood came from Longchong. Longao, hand over the Qilin blood and the dragon blood. With a cold snort, Longao directly chose to ignore the other party. Things had already come to this point. Longao was very clear in his heart that if he did not use the 9 needles to seal the spirit, he would not be Zhang Zhihong's opponent at all. If he used the ordinary 9 needles to seal the spirit, he would also not be able to fight Zhang Zhihong. It was precisely because of this that Longao gathered the blood of the Fire Qilin and Long Chong and prepared to stake everything on this one throw. According to Long Fu, as long as he used the Qilin's blood and the giant dragon's blood, the 9 needles to seal the spirit could not only increase his strength to a greater extent, but also reduce the backlash to a minimum. However, Long Fu's meaning was very simple. If he used the Qilin's blood and the giant dragon's blood twice, 3 or 4 times, it would be counterproductive. Taking out the 9 god sealing needles from his bosom, without the slightest hesitation, Longao directly swallowed the 2 drops of blood, the Qilin's blood and the giant dragon's blood. Whether it was the Longchong or the Fire Qilin, they were members of the most powerful clans in the world. As soon as he swallowed, Longao felt 2 completely different and terrifying forces instantly flowing through his body. He let out a painful cry. Not only did Longao not stop, but he also directly pierced the 9 god sealing needles into 9 different acupuncture points on his body. What is Longao doing? Seeing Longao's actions, everyone was somewhat confused. They did not know what he was doing. Aoshue cried out in pain and fainted. Aotian sighed deeply and gently placed Aoshue on a chair. As he turned around, he muttered to himself, Aoshue, "Father has let you down." They did not know what was going on. Could it be that Longao wanted to commit suicide? Suddenly, a strong aura erupted from Longao's body. From the aura of a first metamorphosis cultivator, it advanced triumphantly all the way to the aura of a second metamorphosis cultivator, then a third metamorphosis cultivator. What exactly happened? Everyone looked at Longao in a daze. They did not know what kind of secret technique Longao used to increase his aura instantly. The 9 god sealing needles could increase a cultivator's strength and aura, but it could not increase one's cultivation realm. In other words, although Longao used the 9 god sealing needles to increase his strength to the so-called peak sovereign personage, his true cultivation realm did not break through to the sovereign personage realm. Zhang Mo's expression was extremely unsightly. He said, "Brother Ao, what do you think is going on?" Ao Tian stared at Longao, especially when he felt the strong aura coming from Longao. He said gravely, "If I'm not wrong, the reason why Longao was able to increase his strength so quickly should be because he used the Cheelant's blood and the colossal dragon's blood to forcefully increase his strength. There is only one consequence for doing so. Longao will suffer a backlash later." Ao Tian was very moved that Longao used a secret technique to forcefully increase his strength. As the master of the Ghost King sect, he naturally knew the consequences of doing so. If he was not careful, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. Longao could fight the world for his daughter. Could Zhang Zhihong do the same? The answer was without a doubt that Zhang Zhihong could not do so. However, when Ao Tian thought about the Golden Sun sect and the Prime Golden Core, he still did not change his mind. He said gravely, "Brother Zhang, this fellow's strength has only increased to peak sovereign personage. There is still a huge gap between him and Zhihong." Zhang Yimou nodded. He was very confident in his son's strength. He smiled, his meaning very clear. Zhang Zhihong's expression changed slightly. At this moment, Longao's strength and aura kept increasing. Zhang Zhihong, who was originally full of confidence, started to waver. The 9 divine needles stimulated the Cheelant's blood and the colossal dragon's blood, causing Longao's strength to increase continuously. Under normal circumstances, the 9 divine needles could increase his strength to the 3rd metamorphosis. However, with the Cheelant's blood and the colossal dragon's blood, Longao's strength rose to peak sovereign personage. Peak sovereign personage was still one level away from Zhang Zhihong's peak earthly monarch cultivation. Longao suddenly opened his eyes. He held the blood-sucking berserk saber, and his white hair and black clothes fluttered. He looked like a god of war descending. "I am going to take Aoshuer away. I will kill anyone who dares to stop me." Right now, Longao gave off an aura that said, "I am going to take Aoshuer away. I will kill anyone who dares to stop me." Longao's words spread out in the surroundings. Everyone's expressions changed. Longao was going to fight the world for his woman. Chapter 187. Fighting for his lover. Zhang Zhihong, make your move. At this moment, strong confidence erupted from Longao's body. It was like he did not care about his opponent at all. "Ha ha ha, with just you?" Seeing Longao brimming with confidence, Zhang Zhihong suddenly laughed maniacally. Mockery and contempt were written all over his face. Although Zhang Zhihong was astonished by the other party's rapid increase in strength, a peak sovereign personage was still a peak sovereign personage, one step away from becoming an earthly monarch. Longao did not continue speaking nonsense. He quickly charged forward. Before he arrived, his horrifying aura already pressed down. The auras released by the two of them collided fiercely, intertwining with each other and fighting to the death. Zhang Zhihong executed the soul-subduing seal and the underworld burning seal at the same time. Just at this moment, Longao suddenly stopped and formed different hand seals with his hands. This was the destruction seal's 3rd seal, the heaven-burying seal. The destruction seal had a total of 18 moves. Long Fu had only taught Longao the first 4 moves. They were the first move, the soul-subduing seal, the second move, the underworld burning seal, the third move, the heaven-burying seal, and the fourth move, the doomsday seal. With the help of the 9 divine sealing needles, Longao successfully broke through to peak sovereign personage. He could barely execute the 3rd seal. He had to admit that the doomsday seal was much stronger than the other 2 seals. God-locking pearl, Longao's strength increased, causing the power of the God-locking pearl to also become stronger. When the God-locking pearl and the heaven-burying seal worked together, their might was not as simple as 1 + 1. Just as Zhang Zhihong was confident that he could instantly kill his opponent, he suddenly discovered a strange energy invading his body and starting to corrode and burn his soul. Not only that, but a powerful force began to hit his mind directly, and he was locked down again. Under normal circumstances, Zhang Zhihong would only be locked down for 3 seconds at most. If he resisted with all his strength, he would not even be locked down for 2 seconds. However, the current situation was completely different. With the destruction seal corroding his soul and locking down his body, Zhang Zhihong could not help getting distracted while multitasking. Thus, how could Longao let go of such a rare opportunity? When he used the wild devouring saber in his hand, this was the first time he used a soul attack. Ever since he learned about soul attacks, Longao had sped up his cultivation of soul attacks. He had also been constantly absorbing soul energy to strengthen his own soul. According to Long Fu, soul attack was one of the strongest martial skills, and it could be considered a soul martial skill. This kind of spirit martial technique had long been lost in the sky martial continent. In order to have a 100% chance of defeating Zhang Zhihong, Longao used a soul attack for the first time. Soul attacks were also invisible attacks. Outsiders could not see them at all. Not even Zhang Zhihong could sense them. This was one of the most powerful aspects of soul attacks. In truth, Longao using a soul attack was an extremely dangerous thing to do. That was because Zhang Zhihong's realm and strength were much higher than his. Even his soul was much stronger than his. If his soul attack failed, he would suffer a backlash. The consequences would be unimaginable. If it was light, he would become an idiot. If it was heavy, he would directly die. Thus, Longao was risking his life by using a soul attack. Zhang Zhihong let out a miserable cry and collapsed to the ground. Longao didn't seem to plan on letting Zhang Zhihong off. He shot forward and viciously slashed his saber at Zhang Zhihong without hesitation. You dare! Zhang Yimou didn't want to keep waiting. He knew that if he kept waiting, there would only be one result. His son would be mercilessly killed. Zhang Yimou naturally knew that if he did this, he would be ridiculed. But for his son, so what if he lost face? It was precisely because of that Zhang Yimou finally attacked. His powerful aura directly dispersed the saber light. Furthermore, he sent out a palm, scaring Longao into retreating 10 steps before barely managing to stabilize himself. Under normal circumstances, using the 9 divine sealing needles would only last for 10 minutes. But this situation was different. It went without saying that the Qilin blood and dragon blood were truly powerful. According to his calculations, 2 drops of blood would last an hour. That was more than enough time for Longao. Zhang Yimou, you really are shameless. I had a fair fight with Zhang Zhihong, but you actually interfered. Zhang Zhihong was defeated? Seeing Zhang Yimou attack, Zhang Zhihong barely sobered up. His body was on the verge of collapsing. Everyone was shocked. Until now, no one could believe that Zhang Zhihong was defeated and almost killed by Longao. Zhang Zhihong was a warrior at the peak of the Earth's sovereign realm and ranked 3rd on the Fengyun list. He could be said to be a powerful figure among the 6 major sections. But he was defeated. Longao, you said it was a fair fight, but you used an unorthodox method to increase your strength. Isn't this a violation of the rules? Zhang Yimou felt that it was a bit far-fetched to say this. But for his own face, for his son's face, and for the sect's face, he had to say it. Zhang Yimou, no matter what, I have defeated Zhang Zhihong, so I will take Aoshuer away. Ha ha ha, Longao, even if you have defeated my son, what can you do? You still can't take Aoshuer away. Hearing this, Longao's face instantly darkened. He stared coldly at the father and son of the Zhang family in front of him. Shameless. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen such shameless people. They were shameless to the extreme. Zhang Yimou had tacitly admitted that Longao had defeated his son. In an instant, there was an uproar. Everyone knew clearly what it meant for Longao to defeat Zhang Zhihong. That was to say, from now on, Longao not only ranked 3rd on the 100 battle ranking, but also replaced Zhang Zhihong's ranking as the 3rd on the Fengyun list. He ranked 3rd on both lists. As long as Longao wanted to, he could rank 1st on the 100 battle ranking at any time. Even if he was unwilling to admit it, as a warrior in front of tens of thousands of people, Zhang Zhihong did not go back on his words. He endured the bursts of pain in his body and said weakly, Longao, I lost, but I didn't promise you that as long as you defeat me, you can take Aoshuer away. So you can leave, but only alone. Looking at the father and son of the Zhang family who were sneering, Longao's anger had reached the limit. He erupted like a volcano and rolled away. With a roar, Longao did not continue to talk nonsense. With the blood-drinking broadsword in his hand, he fiercely shot toward the father of the Zhang family. Before he arrived, his monstrous anger had already overwhelmed him. In front of Zhang Yimou, Longao actually made the first move. It should be known that Zhang Zhihong and Zhang Yimou were almost at two different levels. They could not be mentioned in the same breath. Longao could defeat Zhang Zhihong, but it did not mean that he could defeat Zhang Yimou. Everyone thought that Longao was mad with anger. Otherwise, he would not be so reckless. Chapter 188. How dare you? Go back. Master Zhang, as a venerable, you're going too far by dealing with a junior. Xia Jun suddenly appeared in front of Longao, stopped him, and said with a sneer. Seeing Xia Jun, Longao seemed a little surprised. After all, the Sound of Thunder sect and the Golden Sun sect had always minded their own business. This time, Xia Jun stood up for him. Wouldn't he offend the Golden Sun sect? Seeing his son stand up for Longao, Xiafang was a little surprised, but he didn't say anything. Xia Jun, Longao publicly disrupted the wedding. Just for this, I can directly kill him. Ha ha ha, disrupt the wedding? Longao likes Aoshue, and Aoshue likes Longao. It's a matter of course. I think Zhang Zhihong is shameless and insisted on interfering. His face was gloomy and terrible, and he clenched his fists tightly. If it weren't for the Sound of Thunder sect behind Zhang Zhihong, Zhang Yimou might have already taken action. It was rumored that the Golden Sun sect's strength had surpassed the Sound of Thunder sect and the Fiery sect and had become the leader of the six sects. However, only Zhang Yimou knew best that the Golden Sun sect's current strength was far from being a match for the Fiery sect and the Sound of Thunder sect. Brother Xiao, what do you think? Zhang Yimou didn't want to continue talking nonsense with Xia Jun, so he could only point the finger at Xiafang, hoping that the Sound of Thunder sect could come forward and recall Xia Jun. However, Xiafang just smiled and said, Xia Jun is helping a friend. As a friend, I won't ask too much. Also, Brother Zhang, I think you've done something wrong. We've agreed before that Zhihong and Longao would have a fair fight, but you broke the rules. Xiafang didn't continue, but the meaning of his words was very clear. Zhang Mo's behavior had angered the public. Under normal circumstances, a fair fight between warriors was not allowed to be disrupted. What's more, the six sects usually didn't get along well. The Sound of Thunder sect couldn't wait to watch the Golden Sun sect make a fool of themselves. After all, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Master Zhang, Zhang Zhihong has already lost. According to the spirit of a warrior, Aoshue should be taken away by Longao. What do you think? Zhang Yimou was rendered speechless. Helpless, he could only look at proud heaven, hoping that the Ghost King would step in and resolve this matter. After all, Aoshue was proud heaven's daughter. If the Ghost King Aotion were to speak, no one would be dissatisfied. The Ghost King Aotion's face was not looking too good, because he never thought that Longao would actually be able to defeat Zhang Zhihong. What was even more difficult was that Zhang Yimou also made a move at the same time. Did he really agree to let Aoshue leave? Golden Sun Sect, Sovereign Golden Core. When he thought of the Sovereign Golden Pellet, Aotion's originally wavering decision was once again set in stone. This was because he knew better than anyone what the Sovereign Golden Pellet meant to him. A Venerable was only one step away from becoming a Supreme. Longao, you should leave. I've already said that Aoshue has already been betrothed to Zhihong. From now on, you're not allowed to take a single step into my Ghost King sect. Otherwise, I'll kill you without mercy. As for Aotion the Ghost King's intention, no one was a fool. Of course, they could guess most of it. If there were no surprises, the Ghost King Aotion and Zhang Yimou must have reached some kind of agreement. Otherwise, Aotion wouldn't have rejected Longao. Without the slightest bit of surprise, Longao suddenly laughed. Longao, what are you laughing at? What am I laughing at? I'm laughing at Aoshue for having a father like you. What a tragedy. Zhang Yimou, Zhang Zhihong, I, Longao, swear to the heavens that I will destroy your Golden Sun sect in the future. Otherwise, I'll be struck by lightning and die a horrible death." As he spoke, Longao forced out a drop of blood essence from his body, forming a blood oath. A blood oath was the most terrifying oath in the world. Once a blood oath was formed, there were only two results. Either the blood oath was not fulfilled, or the blood oath would backfire. No one had expected Longao to make a blood oath. They all looked at Zhang Emo and his son, wondering how the Golden Sun sect would react. There was no doubt that Zhang Emo and Zhang Zhihang's faces were full of contempt and contempt. They didn't take each other seriously at all. A little transformation warrior who had used some kind of secret technique to reach the human king realm dared to boast so shamelessly. He was really reckless. He even wanted to destroy the Golden Sun sect? Longao, I admire your courage very much, but as a person, you must have self-awareness, with just you. Brother Long, don't be reckless. This was the first time Xiajun called Longao Brother Long. Although it didn't seem like anything to outsiders, those who knew Xiajun would know that the change in address meant that Xiajun had acknowledged Longao as a true friend. Xiajun had very few friends in his life. Longao's performance this time had deeply impressed Xiajun. In Xiajun's opinion, Longao's talent was stronger than his, even comparable to those two. If he was born in a better family, then Longao's achievements would definitely not be what they were now. In fact, Xiajun had already wanted to rope in Longao. Otherwise, he wouldn't have offended the Golden Sun sect. Even if the Golden Sun sect was not as strong as the Sound of Thunder sect, once they fell out, it wouldn't be good for anyone. Fortunately, his father didn't say anything. In fact, Xiajun also knew that his father also wanted to rope in Longao. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked him to come forward. Brother Long, Zhang Emo is a venerable. With your current strength, you can't even resist one move from him. Don't be reckless. Where there is life, there is hope. No one knew what method Xiajun used, but outsiders couldn't hear him at all. Only Longao could hear him. A venerable? What was the strength of a venerable? Longao was very confused about Zhang Mo's realm, because in his opinion, warriors were divided into three levels: the acquired realm, the innate realm, and the transformation realm. Was Zhang Emo an expert above the Tao ancestor? It was not until this moment that Longao realized that he was a frog at the bottom of the well. He thought that the Tao ancestor was already standing at the peak of martial arts. Now it seemed that there were more powerful existences above the Tao ancestor. It was also because of this matter that Longao was even more eager to improve his strength. This was because if he wanted to survive in this continent where strength was respected, and to protect his family, he had to improve his strength first. Without a strong enough fist, everything was nonsense. Strength, in the end, everything depended on strength. With great strength, you could be the boss and run amok. If you didn't have strength, you could only stand there and be beaten. You had to shut up obediently. This was the reality. This was the law of survival. Longao, why don't I give you a chance? If you can take 3 moves from me, I promise you that I won't interfere in this matter. How about it? Despicable and shameless. As everyone knew, Zhang Emo was a genuine venerable. His strength was far beyond that of his son, Zhang Zhihang. Even if Longao's strength had improved, it was impossible for him to take 3 moves from Zhang Emo. Chapter 189. You don't dare? Zhang Emo sneered with disdain and contempt written all over his face. At this moment, none of the tens of thousands of people in the square despised Longao. Instead, they looked down on the father and son of the Zhang family. However, the father and son of the Zhang family ignored the contempt of everyone around them. Zhang Zhihang said with a smile, Longao, don't think that you're invincible just because you used unorthodox methods to defeat me. I can tell you clearly that you're not even as good as a fart. Yes, I'm not even as good as a fart. You're just a fart. Hearing Longao's words, everyone laughed without the slightest bit of restraint. Aotion coldly glanced at them. Everyone was so scared that they all shut their mouths. In an instant, it became absolutely silent. Ahem, ahem. At this time, Xiafang suddenly stood up and said with a smile, Brother Ao, I wonder if I can say something fair. Xiafang, the master of the Sound of Thunder sect, had reached the peak of the venerable realm, far surpassing Aotion the Ghost King and Zhang Emo. Moreover, the strength and foundation of the Sound of Thunder sect were there. Even Aotion did not dare to provoke Xiafang casually. "Brother Xia, you're too annoying. If you have anything to say, just say it." "Well, Brother Ao, we all see Long Ao's true feelings for Aoshue. I want to ask if the Ghost King sect can give Long Ao a chance? A fair chance." Hearing this, Zhang Emo and Zhang Zhihang's faces instantly darkened to the extreme. They were as ugly as they could be. Zhang Zhihang and Zhang Emo never expected that Xiafang would suddenly stand up for Long Ao. This matter instantly became a little tricky. After all, the Sound of Thunder sect was not ordinary. After lowering his head and thinking for a moment, Aotion suddenly nodded. This was not good. Although Zhang Emo was extremely angry, there was nothing he could do. After all, Xiafang had stepped forward and Aotion had agreed. If he stepped forward, it would only escalate the battle and eventually evolve into a battle between the Golden Sun sect and the Thunder War. Zhang Emo was not a fool. If the Gold Sun sect really fought with the Sound of Thunder sect, the Gold Sun sect would definitely not gain the slightest advantage. Zhang Emo would never do something that would cause him to lose money. What was more, as the master of the Gold Sun sect, no matter what decision he made, the first thing he thought of was the interests of the sect. Brother Ao, Long Ao has just defeated Zhang Zhihang. It can be said that he has obtained an opportunity. Waving his hand, Proud Heaven said, "All right, I'll give Long Ao a chance. Long Ao, 3 trials. As long as you can pass the 3 trials, I will agree to let you take Aoshue away. What do you think?" Sure. Long Ao agreed without even thinking about it. He knew very well that this was his only chance. After all, Zhang Emo was so powerful that it was impossible for him to take away Aoshue. 3 tests? Everyone began to look forward to it. They didn't know what the Ghost King's 3 trials were, but everyone knew that the Ghost King's 3 trials were definitely not simple. In the first round, you have to take 3 of Brother Zhang's moves. Pucci. Hearing the Ghost King's first trial, everyone was completely stunned. Not to mention the second and third trials. Could Long Ao pass the first trial alone? Zhang Emo, the sect leader of the Golden Sun sect, had the strength of a venerable. Not to mention Long Ao, even if a Dao ancestor was here, he might not be able to take 3 moves from Zhang Emo. Thinking about it, everyone already understood that the Spirit King Aotion was doing this just to let Long Ao know the difficulties and retreat. Brother Long, waving his hand, Long Ao stopped Xia Jun. His expression was firm as he nodded and agreed. "I agree. Tell me everything about the next 2 trials. No matter what, I will take away Aoshue." Long Ao's persistence, Long Ao's unwillingness to admit defeat, and Long Ao's infatuation deeply moved someone. Because if it were someone else, would they be able to do this? In the second trial, you have to kill the sky-devouring python. Hearing the Ghost King say the second day, everyone was shocked to the extreme. Everyone knew that there was a sky-devouring python in the back mountain of the Ghost King sect. Although it only had the strength of an earthly sovereign, with the power of the valley, even a venerable could not do anything to it. Because of this, the valley of the Ghost King sect was listed as a forbidden area. Under normal circumstances, the disciples of the sect were not allowed to enter, otherwise they would be severely punished. Without giving Long Ao a chance to think, Aotion continued, "If you can successfully pass the first 2 trials, you will represent the Ghost King sect in the Battle of the 6 Sects in a month's time and help me get the Sovereign Golden Pill. At that time, you can take away Aoshue. It's up to you whether you agree or not." Brother Ao. After giving a look, Zhang Emo finally understood Aotion's meaning through spiritual sense transmission. He smiled and did not say anything else. The 3 trials mentioned by Aotion were extremely difficult. Each trial was full of danger. If one relaxed even a little bit, they would definitely die. But Long Ao did not even think about it and directly agreed. "Okay, I agree. I agree." Everyone immediately applauded for Long Ao after he agreed to these 3 challenges. Let's not talk about whether Long Ao would be able to successfully pass the challenge. Just this courage alone was worthy of admiration. "I'll give you 10 minutes to rest." Long Ao was not polite at all. Chapter 190. Brother Long. The 8 realms of nothingness are divided into disaster, honorable, sovereign, earth venerable, heavenly venerable, great venerable, world king and world emperor. Disaster, honorable, sovereign, earth venerable, heavenly venerable, great venerable, world king and world emperor. Zhang Emo was only a honorable. He was at the bottom of the 8 realms of nothingness, but his strength was so terrifying. Longao found it hard to imagine how powerful a martial artist above the sovereign of nothingness would be. As if he could see the shock in Longao's heart, Xiaojun said, "The 6 major sects all have honorable existences, but martial artists above the earth venerable level usually don't appear." As if he thought of something, Xiaojun said, "The 3rd test that the Ghost King mentioned is for you to participate in the battle of the 6 sects in a month to fight for the sovereign golden pill. It's a golden pill condensed after the death of a sovereign." Oh, what's going on? Longao was very curious about what the sovereign golden pill was. Brother Long, you don't know. The sovereign golden pill is a golden pill condensed from all the energy of a sovereign after his death. As long as you can obtain it, you can inherit all the energy of a sovereign. At that time, it will be easier to break through to the sovereign realm. Looking around, Xiaojun said, "The 6 major sects, including my father, all want this sovereign golden pill." Longao was very surprised. He didn't expect the sovereign golden pill to be so valuable. 10 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. Longao stood up again and looked at Zhang Emo in front of him. His face was indifferent, as if he wasn't worried at all. Zhang Zhihang's soul was severely injured. It would be very difficult for him to recover in a short period of time. Aoshue, who had already woken up, came in front of Longao and said gently, "When you live, I live. When you die, I die. I will never leave you. I will follow you for all eternity." These 4 simple sentences showed Aoshue's attitude. Aoshue came to Ghost King Aotion's side and said without any complaints, "Whether Longao lives or dies, I am his woman. After this, I, Aoshue, am no longer a member of Ghost King's sect." "Then you don't want your father?" "No, I don't want it anymore." Hearing this, the Ghost King Aotion's body suddenly trembled. Perhaps it was out of guilt, but Aotion did not continue speaking. For the sovereign golden pill, sacrificing a daughter was unavoidable. "Longao, I don't even need 3 moves. You can't even block 1 move. Do you believe me?" "Trust my ass. You." Longao didn't give Zhang Emo a chance to continue. He couldn't control himself. He never scolded people, but at this moment, he really wanted to. He had to. "Zhang Emo, as a venerable and the master of the Gold Sun sect, it's indeed very shameless of you to do this. Let me give you a piece of advice. Please remember it." Everyone was looking forward to it because they really wanted to hear what Longao would say to Zhang Emo. "Zhang Emo, you've lacked calcium since you were young. When you grew up, you lacked love. Your grandmother didn't dote on you, and your uncle didn't love you. His left cheek was asking for a slap, and his right cheek was asking for a kick. When a donkey sees a donkey, it kicks a donkey. When a pig sees a pig, it tramples on it. He was born in the year of the cucumber and deserved a beating. He was born in the year of the walnut and deserved a beating." Disdain was written all over his face as he continued to scold. "You're so cheap. I'm very puzzled. I taught you to practice the saber, and you practiced the sword. You didn't practice the golden sword, and you practiced the silver sword. You didn't want to be a sword immortal, and you didn't want to be a sword god. You just had to shamelessly cry and shout that you wanted to be a sword man. Really, why do you have to do this?" Back in the Scarlet Fire Town, Longao was not in a hurry to return to the family after cultivating in the Scarlet Fire Mountain. Instead, he would sit in a small tea house and listen to the hooligans scolding people. The words that he just scolded were what he heard. As the master of the Gold Sun sect, when had Zhang Emo suffered such humiliation? "Longao, cut the crap. Take my move." "Wait, are you afraid?" "Humph, Ghost King, I want to ask. If I take 3 moves from Zhang Emo, can I stand still or can I fight back?" Longao's words were like a few slaps on Ghost King Aotion and Zhang Mo's faces, because regardless of whether Longao fought back or not, the 2 of them were shameless. After all, bullying the weak was inevitable. You can fight back. Nodding, Longao sneered and said, "Come." Before he finished speaking, Zhang Mo's body had already moved. Palm shadows danced in the air, filling the sky with palm shadows. How shameless. Xia Jun's voice was very loud. Everyone in the square could hear it. At the same time, everyone looked down on the master of the Gold Sun sect. Zhang Mo was not ready yet, but he had already attacked. It could be considered a sneak attack. He did not dare to be the slightest bit careless. Although he did not understand the nothingness realm, Longao was very clear that a venerable must be very powerful. He gathered all the strength in his body, and with Long Fu's help, Longao's strength and the power of the dragon seal space, a layer of invisible air shield was directly arranged around Longao's body. Long Fu was incomparably mysterious, and the dragon seal space was incomparably powerful. Even if Long Fu could not directly help, the air shield that he arranged for Longao was enough to withstand Zhang Mo's attack. It was precisely because of this that Ao Long didn't fight back or even resist the first move. He just stood there quietly. Seeing this situation, everyone exclaimed. If it wasn't for Ao Tian holding her back, they believed that Ao Shui would have already rushed over. Xia Jun's expression was also very ugly. He did not know what was wrong with Longao. Even if he knew that he was no match for Zhang Mo, he could not just sit there and wait for death to come. The difference in strength between Zhang Mo and Longao was very large. Even if Zhang Mo fought back, he might not be able to withstand it. Moreover, he was just standing there. He would definitely die. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Zhang Mo's palm fiercely landed on Longao's chest. In fact, Zhang Mo was also very surprised. He did not know why Longao did not dodge. Was he really that confident? Longao's body flew back, but the moment he flew back, Longao used a soul attack. Moreover, he also used the soul suppressing seal, underworld burning seal, and heaven burying seal at the same time. Longao's intention was very simple. With Long Fu's help, he believed that it would not be difficult to withstand this attack. Moreover, he seized the opportunity when his opponent underestimated him to use a soul attack, hoping to injure his opponent. Soul attack. If it was under normal circumstances, Longao knew very well that it was impossible for him to attack his opponent's soul. After all, the difference in strength between them was too great. A venerable was above a Dao ancestor. Not to mention a venerable, even a Dao ancestor, Longao did not dare to use a soul attack easily. However, Longao knew that a soul attack was his only chance. 3 consecutive moves. Even if he could withstand the first move, could he withstand the second and third move? It was because of this that Longao staked everything. Even if he stood still, he still had to fight. Chapter 191. Zhang Mo grunted. He did not care about Longao's life and death. He stood still on the spot. What happened to Zhang Mo? Everyone was curious as they looked at the motionless Zhang Mo. However, no one dared to approach him. Under Zhang Mo's disdain, the soul attack successfully eroded his soul. However, Longao's strength was still too low. If he could break through to the nothingness realm, then this attack alone would be enough to take Zhang Mo's life. However, the soul was the most important thing to a warrior. Not to mention the destruction of one's soul. Even a serious injury to one's soul would be a huge blow to a warrior. With Longao's strength, the soul attack could not kill Zhang Mo. Even so, Zhang Mo did not dare to be careless. He immediately began to repair his soul. Longao, who was sent flying, stopped abruptly. Fortunately, he had Long Fu's help. Otherwise, he would have been dead by now. Longao withstood it? It was as if he was used to it. After all, in the eyes of ordinary warriors, the difference in strength between Zhang Mo and Zhang Zhihong was insignificant. However, Ao Tian and the others were well aware of Long Mo's strength. Could a mere metamorphosis realm cultivator, even a sovereign personage, withstand the powerful strike of a venerate? Longao, looking at the arrogant youth not far away, Ghost King Ao Tian and the others began to see Longao in a new light. They realized that other than his great talent, Longao had many secrets. Zhang Mo, there are still 2 more moves. Come at me together. It had to be said that Longao was really arrogant. However, things had already progressed to this stage. Everyone believed that Longao had the right to be arrogant. Zhang Yimou did not answer. He was still repairing his soul. A serious injury to the soul was not a small matter. If he was not careful, it would affect his future cultivation. Until now, Zhang Yimou still could not believe that his opponent could attack his soul. Opening his eyes, Zhang Mo's heart was filled with rage, but there was nothing he could do. With his soul severely injured, he could not immediately attack. Otherwise, it would affect the recovery of his soul. In other words, he was already powerless in the next 2 moves. Longao, seeing that you're still a character, I'll let you off. You've finished 3 moves. You can start the second trial. 3 moves had passed? When did it pass? Everyone was shocked when they heard Zhang Mo's words. Zhang Yimou had clearly only used 1 move. How did it become 3 moves? No one knew the reason behind it. Father, what's wrong? We'll talk about it when we get back. Seeing his father's grave expression, Zhang Zhihong didn't dare to ask any more questions. Both father and son were extremely tragic. They had suffered from Longao's soul attack one after another. Zhang Zhihong, in particular, had nearly died from the soul attack. Longao had successfully passed the first test. Even the disciples of the Ghost King sect were looking forward to it. Some were even pleasantly surprised. This was the reality. Longao's strength and persistence, as well as his infatuation, had deeply moved everyone. Taking a deep look at Longao, Ghost King Aotion said, "Follow me." With that, the Ghost King led everyone to the back of the Ghost King Peak. There was a small valley there. No one knew how long the heaven-devouring python had lived in it. However, no one in the Ghost King sect was willing to harm the heaven-devouring python. Longao, are you all right? Shaking his head, Longao held Aoshue's little hand. He didn't say anything. He knew very well that if he wanted to take Aoshue away, even if he could kill the heaven-devouring python, he still had to participate in the 6-sect battle in a month's time to compete for the sovereign golden pill. Zhang Yimou, who was walking at the back, said with a grave expression, "Zhihong, was your soul attacked just now?" Nodding, Zhang Zhihong seemed to have thought of something. He asked in surprise, "Father, could it be that you too?" "Yes, this kid is not simple. He actually knows how to attack the soul." Of course, Zhang Zhihong knew what soul attack meant. However, at this time, Xiajun came over with a sneer and said, "The 2 of you are really something. The Golden Sun sect is at the end of the road." Looking at Xiajun's regretful face, both Zhang Zhihong and Zhang Yimou were furious. However, they had lost face and had nothing to say. Ghost King Peak, outside the small valley. Brother Ao, if Longao passes the 3 stages, what will happen to Aoshue and Zhihong's engagement? Although Zhang Yimou didn't finish his words, the meaning was clear. Today was his son's wedding, but what happened in the end? Brother Zhang, don't worry. Although the heaven-devouring python is only at the earthly emperor realm, it is very powerful. Especially in the valley, even you and I may not be able to kill it, let alone Longao. After thinking for a while, the Ghost King continued, "Even if Longao can really kill the heaven-devouring python, can Longao survive the 6-sect battle in a month's time?" "I understand. In the 6-sect battle, the 6 sects would each send 10 disciples. When the time came, the Golden Sun sect and the Ghost King sect would join forces and kill Longao in a matter of minutes." Therefore, Zhang Yimou chose to accept. Zhang Zhihong was very depressed. Today was supposed to be his big day, but it helped Longao. Not only was he famous in Tianzhou, but he was also ranked 3rd on the Fengyan list. Looking coldly at Longao in front of him, Zhang Zhihong wished that he could immediately attack and kill him. However, in the end, he endured it. "Longao, I'm giving you one last chance. Leave the Ghost King sect and we'll let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, you won't have a chance to enter the heaven-devouring valley. Aoshue will always be my woman, Longao." After saying that, Longao's face was resolute. He finally took a step forward and walked toward the heaven-devouring valley. In a short while, he had disappeared without a trace and disappeared into the black fog. Aoshue stood quietly. She didn't stop him, didn't feel sad, didn't feel excited and didn't even worry. Because Aoshue had already made a decision. If Longao died, she would die. If something happened to Longao, she would also leave with Longao. In this case, what was the use of doing anything else? Behind the six sects, Zhao Meng, the emperor of the Thunder Empire, had witnessed everything that had just happened. His original thoughts had completely changed. Zhao Meng had made up his mind that no matter what happened in the future, he would not go against this man. A man who almost killed Zhang Zhihong and took a blow from Zhang Emo. It was obvious what kind of person he would become in the future. Would a fearless killer be afraid of the Thunder Empire? The answer was obviously no. It was because of this that Zhao Meng was afraid, very afraid. He had no choice but to compromise and secretly let out a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he had withdrawn from the grudge between Longao and the Nebula royal family. Chapter 192. Sky-Devouring Valley, the forbidden area of the Ghost King sect. In fact, with the strength of the Ghost King sect, it was almost an easy task to kill the Sky-Devouring Python. Sky-Devouring Valley was shrouded in black fog. It was so dark that one could not even see his own fingers. Stepping into Sky-Devouring Valley, the increase in strength of the Nine Needles Investiture God disappeared without a trace and began to backfire. He was shocked and did not dare to hesitate. His soul immediately entered the Dragon Seal space. He went straight to the point. Long Fu, I want to continue using the Nine Needles Investiture God. Can I reach my previous strength? Through Xiajun, Longao already knew that the Sky-Devouring Python was at the Earthly Emperor realm. If he did not continue using the Nine Needles Investiture God, it would be a big problem for him to leave Sky-Devouring Valley with his current strength, let alone kill the Sky-Devouring Python. Master, using the Nine Needles Investiture God twice in a row, the backfire is not something you can withstand. So I advise you not to do it. Long Fu, this must be done. Help me do it, right now. Longao was not asking at all because he had decided to kill the Sky-Devouring Python no matter what happened and pass the second stage smoothly. Long Fu had no choice but to compromise. Longao asked Long Chong for another drop of Divine Dragon Blood and took out the last 2 drops of Kylan blood. He immediately began the second Nine Needles Investiture God. At this moment, Longao did not care about the consequences. He resolutely chose to use the second Nine Needles Investiture God. His strength rose to the peak of the Human King realm again. At this moment, Longao's eyes suddenly widened. Not far in front of him, there was a pair of cold eyes staring at him. Longao shuddered. Of course, he knew what monster was staring at him coldly. The Sky-Devouring Python was one of the branches of the Dragon Clan. It was powerful. Although it was at the Earthly Emperor realm, it was comparable to a Tao ancestor warrior. The Sky-Devouring Python's body was more than 10 meters long. Its body was pure black and its head was like a hill. The Sky-Devouring Python was called Sky-Devouring because its mouth was very big. Once it opened, it seemed to be able to swallow the world. Too powerful. Longao had always thought that he would have a chance of killing the Heaven-Devouring Python if he continued using the Divine Sealing Nine Needles and raised his strength to that of a peak sovereign personage. However, when he saw the Heaven-Devouring Python for real, Longao was shocked to discover that his strength was far from enough. The difference in strength between the two was too great. Huff, huff, huff. The Sky-Devouring Python suddenly moved, as if it wanted to end the battle quickly. It opened its mouth, which was more than 3 meters long. Not to mention swallowing a person, it was more than enough to swallow an elephant with more than enough power. Not daring to be the slightest bit careless, Longao continued to move, the wild draw blade in his hand also fiercely slashed out. Saber after saber, shocking saber light fell on the body of the Heaven-Devouring Python. However, the defense of the Heaven-Devouring Python was too strong. Just the blood-sucking saber was unable to break through its defense. Putting away the wild draw blade, Longao did not waste his strength. He took out the God-Locking Pearl and activated it. A strange power was emitted from the God-Locking Pearl, covering the body of the Heaven-Devouring Python instantly. He had thought that the God-Locking Pearl could lock onto the Heaven-Devouring Python, but what was the result? The god-locking pearl could not lock onto the heaven-devouring python at all. This was something that Longao had not expected. The blood-sucking wild blade and the god-sealing pearl were useless. As for the soul attack and the annihilation seal, Longao did not use them either because he had already expected that the soul attack and the annihilation seal would not work either. What should he do? No matter how long Ao thought about it, he could not think of a way to deal with the heaven-devouring python. Was he going to die in the heaven-devouring valley just like that? Unwilling to give up, Longao did not choose to give up. He continued to move around, not wanting to clash with the heaven-devouring python head-on. However, with the massive body of the heaven-devouring python, it did not need to be fast at all to catch up to Longao easily. Longao knew clearly in his heart that if this were to continue, he would definitely die. A dragon's roar could be heard. Just as Longao was moving around and did not know what to do, a dragon's roar suddenly resounded in the heaven-devouring valley. Perhaps it was because of the soundproofing, the dragon's roar could not be heard from the outside. Longchong's massive body appeared in mid-air. His body emitted a terrifying dragon's breath that suppressed the heavens and the earth. Longchong was only in the transformation realm. However, the heaven-devouring python was in the earthly emperor realm. Under normal circumstances, Longchong would not be a match for the heaven-devouring python. This was without a doubt. However, the problem now was that the heaven-devouring python was only one of the branches of the dragon clan. On the other hand, Longchong was a real giant dragon. Moreover, he was a mutated giant dragon. The heaven-devouring python had already lost in terms of momentum, not to mention strength. Hearing the dragon's roar and feeling the dragon's breath, the heaven-devouring python was shocked to the extreme. This was because he could not understand why a giant dragon would appear in this place. He did not dare to continue being arrogant and obediently crawled down. Seeing the heaven-devouring python admit defeat, Longao was delighted. He immediately communicated with Longchong. Outside the heaven-devouring valley, Longao had been in the heaven-devouring valley for a full hour. The people outside were waiting anxiously. According to their agreement, Longao only had 6 hours. In other words, after 6 hours, someone from the Ghost King sect would enter the heaven-devouring valley to see if Longao had succeeded or failed. Brother Ao, what do you think? Ao Tian certainly knew what Zhang Emo meant. He nodded and said, the heaven-devouring python's strength is obvious. You and I both know that it is impossible for Longao to kill the heaven-devouring python with his strength. Therefore, Ao Tian did not finish his words, but the meaning in his words was clear. He was delighted. If Longao died in the heaven-devouring valley, then his son and Aoshue could continue their marriage. Longao must die. The master of the Blood Sea sect, Guanfeng, was also looking forward to seeing Longao come out alive. Du Yunxian asked in a low voice, Master, can Longao come out alive? There is a 50-50 chance. If an ordinary warrior entered the heaven-devouring valley, he would definitely die. However, Longao had brought them too many surprises. Because of this, everyone was looking forward to seeing Longao come out alive and create another miracle. Everyone looked at the heaven-devouring valley in front of them. Some were looking forward to seeing Longao come out, while others were looking forward to seeing Longao not come out. However, regardless of whether they were looking forward to it or not, Longao had become the focus of everyone. He's out. In just an hour, he's out? Someone shouted. Everyone looked at the heaven-devouring valley. At this moment, a white-haired youth in black slowly walked out of the heaven-devouring valley. Step by step, he walked slowly and heavily. Chapter 193. He had a head of white hair and was dressed in black. Longao pulled the sky-devouring python's tail with his right hand and walked out of the sky-devouring valley step by step. What's going on? Everyone was dumbfounded because the matter was already in front of them. Although Longao did not kill the heaven-swallowing python, subduing it was far better than killing it. It was precisely because of this that everyone could not figure out how Longao did it. Longao, you've passed the second test. Although Ao Tian was unwilling to admit it, he still nodded in the end. He didn't know why, but he felt that Longao had many secrets. Could it be that he had made the wrong choice this time? Seeing that Longao had successfully subdued the heaven-devouring giant python, Zhang Zhihong and Zhang Mo's faces were extremely gloomy. Zhang Zhihong kept asking himself, if I enter the sky-devouring valley, will I be able to subdue the sky-devouring python? The answer was no doubt, definitely not. Now that we've passed the first 2 tests, when will the 3rd test begin? 1 month later, at the Crying Ghost Ridge. At that time, the sovereign golden core will be placed in the deepest part of the Crying Ghost Ridge. As long as you can take back the sovereign golden core, you can take Aoshue away. Without giving Longao any chance to speak, Ao Tian continued, in this 1 month, Aoshue has to stay in the Ghost King sect. 1 month later, I will definitely take back the sovereign golden core from the Crying Ghost Ridge. Without saying anything more, Longao turned and left. He looked so lonely and arrogant. From the beginning to the end, Longao didn't say a word to Aoshue. In his opinion, actions always spoke louder than words. If he wanted to take Aoshue away, he had to win the 6-sect battle in a month's time. Xiajun was a little worried and chased after him. At this moment, everyone began to talk about it. Today's matter was really unexpected. Aoshue and Zhang Zhihong were supposed to be married, but Longao came out of nowhere. At first, Longao was despised by everyone. But what happened in the end? Longao's strength and persistence, as well as his true feelings, deeply moved everyone. Moreover, Longao defeated Zhang Zhihong. Not only did he become famous in Tianzhou, but he was also ranked 3rd on the Wind Cloud list. With this achievement, Longao was no longer the same as before. Father, what you want to do has nothing to do with the sect. Remember, don't let me down. Of Longao's rise, that was. The scenery of the Ghost King Peak was very unique, especially at dusk. It was as if the entire peak was hidden in the clouds. Beside the lotus pond, Aoshue didn't speak. She sat quietly by the lotus pond, thinking about something. Seeing his daughter like this, Ao Tian sighed deeply and said, Aoshue, I believe you know very well what the Supreme Golden Elixir means. If I can get this Supreme Golden Elixir, I will definitely break through the Venerable Realm and reach the Supreme Realm. Aoshue still didn't speak. As the master of the Ghost King sect, I first have to consider the interests of the sect. Longao is very talented and will definitely soar in the future. But the strength of the Gold Sun sect is there. The sect can't fall out with the Gold Sun sect. Do you understand my difficulties? Aoshue trembled slightly and suddenly said, as the master of the Ghost King sect, I don't blame you for having to consider the interests of the sect. But have you ever thought about my feelings and situation? I really want to ask, are you my biological father? Of course. Not necessarily. Forget it, I don't want to say anything else. A month later, in the Battle of the 6 Sects, if Longao can get the Supreme Golden Elixir, I will leave the Ghost King sect. From then on, I will make a clean break. If he can't get the Supreme Golden Elixir, I will follow him. Aoshue, listen to me. Even if Longao can get the Supreme Golden Elixir, he may not have a chance to grow. Why? Suddenly standing up, Aoshue suddenly burst out a cold aura and stared at her father in front of her. Sighing deeply in his heart again, the Ghost King said, Longao angered the Gold Sun sect this time. Do you think the Gold Sun sect will let Longao go? Also, there is a grudge between the Blood Sea sect and Longao. No matter what his talent and potential are, without a chance to grow, everything will be in vain. I'm going to find him. No. Why? Aoshue almost shouted. Since young, she had never been like this. Because in her heart, her father in front of her was so great. But now? Aoshue, in this month, if you dare to take a step out of the sect, the agreement between me and Longao will be cancelled. Even if he can get the Supreme Golden Elixir, I will not agree to let him take you away. No words, no anger, not even the slightest fluctuation. Aoshue sat down again and quietly looked at the lotus pond in front of her. The Ghost King didn't seem to want to continue the conversation and turned to leave. If the Lord lives, the concubine lives. If the Lord dies, the concubine dies. Longao, I will wait for you. On the way, Du Yunxian said seriously, Master, This boy's potential is too great. If we let him grow, we will have a lot of trouble in the future. Waving his hand, Guanfeng's face was also not very good, because the grudge between him and Longao seemed to be nothing, but in fact, they were like fire and water. He could even say that once Longao grew up in the future, he would definitely deal with the Blood Sea sect. Longao, Guanfeng said in his heart, and suddenly said, "You two go. Remember, don't talk about taking action first. Make sure the Gold Sun sect doesn't take action, then you two take action, understand?" Understood. Whether it was Du Hushuan or Du Yunxian, they both knew that the master was beginning to fear Longao. But after thinking about it, they felt relieved. After all, the potential and talent Longao had shown today were beyond their understanding. So no matter what happened, they couldn't give him any chance to grow. Not only the Gold Sun sect and the Blood Sea sect, but even the Flame sect also sent experts to kill Longao. Although Longao and the Flame sect had no grudge, in the eyes of the Flame sect, Longao was really an anomaly. If Longao really reconciled with the Ghost King sect, wouldn't it be giving the Ghost King sect a super expert for free? Flame sect, Blood Sea sect, Golden Sun sect, the three major sects had sent experts to hunt down Longao at the same time. If this news were to spread out, the three major sects would lose all their face. However, the three major sects weren't fools. Of course, they wouldn't be stupid enough to kill Longao openly. Therefore, the shamelessness of the three major sects would never spread out. Chapter 194. Longao. The news of Longao causing havoc in the Ghost King sect, defeating Zhang Zhihong, and resisting Zhang Mo's attack instantly spread throughout the entire Tianzhou. Longao's name completely shook the entire Tianzhou. It could be said that there was no one in Tianzhou who didn't know Longao, especially the losers, who even regarded Longao as their idol. Third on the 100 battle ranking, third on the Fengyan list, and third on both lists. More importantly, Longao caused havoc in the Ghost King sect and left safely in the end. Longao's deeds were said to be miraculous, as if Longao was a god of war who could do anything. Anyone who heard the news deeply admired Longao's infatuation, fighting for the world for a woman. Flame City, in a luxurious restaurant. Brother Linghu, have you heard? Brother Long caused havoc in the Ghost King sect and defeated Zhang Zhihong. Nodding, Linghu Ning seemed to be a little excited and said, "It's really hard to imagine how Brother Long did it. Zhang Zhihong is a super figure who is third on the Fengyan list, and his strength has reached the peak of Earth Sovereign. The difference between the Metamorphosis realm and the peak of Earth Sovereign was too big. Could other things make up for it?" Until now, Linghu Ning and Ice Spirit still couldn't figure out how Longao did it. Anyway, Brother Long's name has completely shaken the entire Tianzhou. Not long ago, Brother Long was only third on the 100 battle ranking. Now, in just 1 month, he's already third on the Fengyan list. Longao's strong rise and his name shook the entire Tianzhou. Whether it was Ice Spirit or Linghu Ning, they were a little surprised and sincerely happy for Longao. Star Cloud City. After the Wang family of Scarlet Fire Town entered the royal family, all the major families chose to be unconvinced, especially when other kingdoms were eyeing them covetously. It could be said that the Wang family was in a very dangerous situation. Not to mention the major families. If other kingdoms attacked the Star Cloud Kingdom, the Wang family's fate could be imagined. Even if the Wang family had Longao as their backing, Longao's strength was still limited. He wasn't strong enough to be feared by all the kingdoms. Moreover, the Wang family and Longao didn't have any backing. How could such a fat piece of meat not be targeted? At that moment, news of Longao causing trouble at the Ghost King sect and defeating Zhang Zhihong spread out. No matter if it was the large families or the various kingdoms, they immediately quieted down. Longao didn't even care about the Ghost King sect and the Golden Sun sect, let alone them. No one was willing to provoke such a murderous god. Furthermore, the Thunder Imperial family had suddenly announced that they would fully support the Wang family of the Nebula Imperial family and the Scarlet Fire Town. The actions of the Thunder Royal family caused everyone to speculate. Ao will participate in the six-sect battle a month later. So Ao will definitely appear in the Crying Ghost Ridge a month later. The Crying Ghost Ridge was a place controlled by the six sections. Secular people were not allowed to enter. After the six sects battle of the six sects, Longyi told them everything he knew about it. After hearing this, Longao and the others' faces became even more solemn. After all, it was very difficult for Ao to snatch the sovereign golden pill from the six sections. Just as Longao was about to say something, Mu Wanfeng, who had been silent all this time, said, "What we have to do now is wait." Why? Ao made a scene in the Ghost King sect and the Golden Sun sect, but he didn't tell us about it. Why? It's very simple. Ao doesn't want anything to happen to us. If we go to the Crying Ghost Ridge or offend the Ghost King sect and the Golden Sun sect, what will Ao do if something happens to us? Everyone knew what Mu Wanfeng meant. Longao said, "You're right. Ao didn't tell us because he doesn't want anything to happen to us. So next, besides contacting Ao as soon as possible, the rest is to build the Chihua town as soon as possible." Longao knew very well that if he wanted to help Ao, he had to make the family stronger first. He couldn't rely on Ao for everything. Sometimes, he had to do something himself. Since Mu Wanfeng and Longao had said so, even if Long Yi and the others were worried, they didn't dare to say anything. Chapter 195. Tianzhou, somewhere in the Flame Empire. Long Ao had caused havoc in the Ghost King sect and used the Nine Needles Sealing God twice in a row, causing his injuries to be very serious, especially the backlash. If it weren't for Long Fu's help, the backlash from using the Nine Needles Sealing God twice would have been enough to immediately take Long Ao's life. But even so, Long Ao's body was on the verge of collapse. "Brother Long, what's wrong with you?" Xiajun was shocked when he saw the pale Long Ao on the verge of collapse. Waving his hand, Long Ao said, "I'm fine, don't worry." Long Ao was very grateful to Xiajun because he knew very well why Xiajun wanted to follow him. After all, he had caused havoc in the Ghost King sect. Not to mention his injuries, the Golden Sun sect would definitely not let him go. "Brother Xia, thank you very much this time. Don't be so polite with me, Long Ao. I've never admired anyone in my life, but I admire you very much." "Brother Xia, I need to find a place to recuperate." Xiajun nodded. Of course, Xiajun also saw that something was wrong with Long Ao. The two immediately found a secluded place. Long Ao entered the cave while Xiajun stayed outside to guard. In the cave, in the Dragon Seal space. "Master, you've used the Nine Needles Sealing God twice in a row. The backlash has reached a critical point. I'll temporarily help you suppress it, but it's not a problem. Master, you must repair it as soon as possible. Otherwise, the consequences will be unimaginable." How could Long Ao not know what Long Fu said? "Long Fu, what should I do now?" Long Ao knew that since Long Fu asked him to use the Nine Needles Sealing God at the same time, there must be a way to deal with the backlash. After thinking about it, Long Fu said with a solemn expression, "Master, if you want to suppress the backlash and integrate it, there's only one way, which is to use the backlash to transform, but it's very painful. Breaking through the second metamorphosis with the help of the backlash?" Hearing Long Fu's idea, Long Ao was also shocked. However, things had already reached this point. Even if it didn't work, it had to work. In the following time, Long Ao followed Long Fu's instructions and began to use the backlash to break through the second metamorphosis. Long Fu's meaning was very simple. As long as Long Ao could endure it, then not only would he not suffer a backlash, but his strength would also rapidly increase. However, this kind of pain was not something a normal person could endure. For 3 whole days, Long Ao endured this kind of pain. Humans were like this. If they couldn't withstand pain, how could there be a rainbow? Long Ao endured the pain and backlash and borrowed the strength in his body to undergo a second transformation. There were 3 transformations, and each transformation represented a qualitative change. "Brother Long, are you okay?" 3 days later, seeing Long Ao walk out of the cave, Xiajun anxiously asked. Although he didn't know what kind of secret technique Long Ao used to increase his strength by 2 whole levels, he wouldn't believe that there wasn't any backlash. I'm fine, Brother Xia. Thank you for these 3 days. Xiajun seemed a little unhappy and said, Brother Long, you and I are friends. There's no need to say thanks. If you say thanks again in the future, it means that you don't treat me as a friend. Longao smiled and said, Brother Xia, I want to ask about the Six Sects Battle Royale in a month. What's going on? Six Sects Battle Royale. There was only one thing that Longao was concerned about, and that was the Six Sects Battle Royale in a month's time. No matter what, he had already successfully passed 2 out of the 3 stages. Only the last stage was left before he could take away Aoshua. The 3 stages were filled with danger, but Longao knew that the 3rd stage was the most dangerous and also the most difficult. After all, he had to snatch the sovereign golden core from the hands of the 6 major sections. Just thinking about it, one could imagine how difficult it would be. Brother Long, the Six Sects Battle Royale was just proposed. The goal is to obtain the sovereign golden core. After thinking for a while, Xiajun continued, 8 void realms. You should know what it means to be a sovereign. After a sovereign cultivator dies, all of his strength will be gathered in the golden core. If a sovereign cultivator obtains it, the chances of breaking through to the sovereign realm will be very high. Brother Xia, I heard that the sovereign golden core was originally in Zhang Mo's hands. Why did he take it out? With regards to this, Longao was very curious. Since the sovereign golden core was so precious and helpful to sovereigns, why did Zhang Mo take it out? Why didn't he consume it himself to break through to the sovereign realm? As if he could guess what Longao was thinking, Xiajun said, Zhang Mo obviously wants to take the sovereign golden core for himself, but he doesn't have the guts. Why is that? The sovereign golden core was obtained by the 6 major sections. It's just that Zhang Mo is temporarily in charge of it. During this wedding, the master of the Blood Sea sect, Guanfeng, won't be able to do it. In the end, the Six Sects Battle Royale was decided to compete for the sovereign golden core. So that's how it is. The Six Sects Battle Royale has a very simple rule. Every sect will send 10 disciples to the Crying Ghost Ridge to compete for the sovereign golden core. If you are included, there will be a total of 60 people competing for the sovereign golden core. After thinking for a while, Xiajun continued, Brother Long. In this Six Sects Battle Royale, my Thunder Sect will do our best to help you compete for the sovereign golden core. Longao did not reject. After all, the participants of the Six Sects Battle Royale were all geniuses. With his strength alone, it would be difficult for him to obtain the sovereign golden core. Sovereign golden core. Longao's face was filled with determination. No matter what happened, he must obtain the sovereign golden core in the Six Sects Battle Royale. Brother Long, there are still 27 days until the Six Sects Battle Royale. What are you planning to do next? Cultivate. Do you need my help? No need. 27 days later, we will meet at the Crying Ghost Ridge. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. This time, you have caused a huge ruckus in the Ghost King sect. If there are no accidents, the Ghost King sect will not let this matter rest. So, if you are willing, you can follow me to the Thunder Sect and participate in the Six Sects Battle Royale. What do you think? How could Longao not know about Xiajun's good intentions? But, was he really going to take refuge in the Thunder Sect? Longao knew very well that he could hide from this matter for a while, but he could not hide from it forever. He had to face it in the end. It was precisely because of this that Longao did not even think about it and said, I will settle this matter myself. Brother Xia, you should go back and prepare well. I will definitely repay this favor in the future. Seeing that Longao had rejected him, Xiajun did not continue to say anything. He nodded his head and told Longao to be careful. Then, he turned and left. In a short while, he had disappeared without a trace. The Six Sect Battle Royale. Longao did not continue to dwell on the matter of the Six Sect Battle Royale, because he knew that his current strength was far from enough to successfully obtain the Sovereign Golden Pill from the Six Sect Battle Royale. He could not rely on the 9 Needles Apotheosis this time. Chapter 196. In the remaining time, Longao planned to cultivate properly and improve as much as he could. This time, he had used the 9 needles to seal God twice. Not only did he not suffer any backlash, He even used the backlash to break through a second metamorphosis. It could be considered a blessing in disguise. Now that he had entered the Flame Empire, Longao did not plan to leave. He first entered the Flame City and found Linghu Ning and Ice Soul. He went straight to the point. Brother Linghu, Ice Soul, I'm preparing to enter the Flame Forest to train. I would like to invite you to come with me. What do you think? No problem. Linghu Ning and Ice Soul agreed without even thinking about it. Ice Soul could not hold back and asked, Brother Long, how did you do it? Long Ao really treated the two of them as friends. So, he did not hide much and told them everything. After listening, whether it was Linghu Ning or Ice Soul, they both sighed endlessly. A narrow escape. Brother Long, you've offended the Golden Sun sect and the Ghost King sect. Will they let it go? Long Ao knew about Linghu Ning and Ice Soul's worries. He smiled and said, It's fine. The Ghost King sect probably won't, but it's hard to say for the Golden Sun sect. No matter what, I won't back down. Brother Long is right. If worst comes to worst, we'll just deal with whatever comes our way. Since things had reached this point, Ice Soul did not say anything more. She asked, Brother Long, when are we leaving? Immediately. In truth, Long Ao was still a little confused. Based on his current popularity, Dongfang Suo should have immediately come looking for him as soon as he entered the Flame City. But now, without even guessing, Long Ao already knew what had happened. The Flame Imperial family relied on the support of the Flame sect. If nothing unexpected happened, the Flame sect would definitely be unhappy with him and want to get rid of him. If that was the case, how would the Flame Imperial family and Dongfang Suo dare to approach him? As if she could guess what Long Ao was thinking, Ice Soul thought for a moment before saying, Brother Long, I've received news that the Flame sect seems to be very unhappy with you. So Dongfang Suo will not come looking for you again. Long Ao smiled. He actually didn't have much of a good impression of Dongfang Suo, but he had given him a lot of medicinal ingredients and could barely be considered a friend. Long Ao's team of 3 did not continue to dwell on the matter regarding the Flame Imperial family. Turning around, they left Flame City. The Fire Forest was the largest spiritual beast forest in the Fire Empire. Even in the entire Tianzhou, it was a famous place. Entering the Flame Forest this time, Long Ao's intention was very simple. He wanted to break through his cultivation base in the shortest amount of time. As for why he called Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning, the reason was very simple. The souls of the spiritual beasts that were killed would be continuously sent into the Dragon Seal space. As for the beast cores and corpses, they were kept by the two of them and sent back to the Scarlet Fire Town's Long family. Just like this, Long Ao's group of 3 continued to wander through the Flame Forest. Unknowingly, 12 days had passed. Including the previous 3 days, it was exactly half a month. In other words, there was only half a month left before the 6 sects competition began. Day 16, dusk. The 3 of them had just killed 2 powerful spiritual beasts and were resting when 2 people walked towards them. Seeing the 2 people, Long Ao's expression changed. He stood up and vigilantly looked at the 2 people. The 2 people that Long Ao saw were none other than the 2 elders of the Blood Sea sect, Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian. Looking at the vigilant Long Ao, Du Yunxian coldly laughed. Du Hushuan said, Long Ao, we're really fated to meet here. Shameless. Just as Du Hushuan finished speaking, Long Ao's group of 3 fiercely despised him in their hearts. They had seen shameless people before, but they had never seen someone as shameless as him. He was simply shameless to the extreme. Fated? They were clearly here to cause trouble, but now they were saying that they were fated. Linghu Ning coldly snorted. His face was filled with disdain and contempt. If he wasn't afraid of the other party's strength, he might have already attacked. Linghu Ning, you might be ranked high in the secular world, but in our eyes, you're not even worth a fart. You'd better shut up. Otherwise, I'll directly kill you. Linghu Ning seemed to want to say something, but he was stopped by Long Ao. Shaking his head, Long Ao sneered and said, Du Hushuan, Du Yunxian, we're straightforward people. Please tell us the purpose of your visit, unless you admit that you're not a cultivator. Du Yunxuan's face was slightly cold as he said with disdain, Straightforward people, I like it. Since that's the case, we won't beat around the bush. Long Ao, I'll give you two options. Choose one. Du Hushuan continued. Two options. The first option is to help the Blood River sect in the Battle of the Six Sects half a month later to obtain the Sovereign Golden Pill. The second option is to die now. The two of you, I'd like to ask you a question. Are your parents good people? Although they didn't know the meaning of Longao's question, they still nodded and asked, so what if they are? So what if they aren't? Nothing, I'm just curious. What kind of good people can raise such a thing? Puffed, hearing Longao's words, Ice Spirit couldn't help but laugh. Du Yunxian and Du Hushuan's faces were extremely gloomy. Just as the two of them were about to say something, Longao threw a backhand punch. Caught off guard, the two of them almost got hit because they never thought that Longao would dare to make a sudden move. In fact, the two of them were still afraid of Longao. No matter what, Longao defeated Zhang Zhihong and took a hit from Zhang Imo. If it were them, would they be able to take a hit from Zhang Imo? The answer was obviously no. Just as the two of them were about to attack in anger, they suddenly felt a sharp pain in their heads. At this moment, Longao didn't continue to attack. He quickly left with Ice Spirit and Ling Hu Ning, disappearing without a trace. The soul attack was split into two. Perhaps the difference in strength was too great, but the two of them recovered their souls in a short time. Even so, the two of them were still shocked, not knowing how the other party did it. Big brother, this kid knows soul attacks. No matter what, we can't let him live. We must kill him today. You have to be careful later. Soul attacks are very strange and powerful. If we're not careful and get hit, we'll be in trouble. Luckily, this kid's strength is not our match, or we'll be in big trouble. Du Yunxian nodded. Thinking about what happened just now, he still felt a lingering fear. Fortunately, Longao's strength was not very strong. Otherwise, his soul attack would have been enough to take both of their lives. If their souls were injured, the consequences would be unimaginable. Chapter 197. Master, I have something to talk to you about. Longao, who was running, heard Long Fu's call. He was puzzled, wondering why Long Fu would call him at this time. However, Longao was very clear that every time Long Fu took the initiative to look for him, it was definitely a good thing. It was precisely because of this that Longao found a secluded and very secretive place to hide. I soul, brother Ling Hu, I have something urgent. Help me guard. The two of them were surprised, but they did not ask. As friends, they knew what to ask and what not to ask. So, the two of them stood guard beside Longao. With the protection of Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul, Longao was relieved. His soul connected with the Dragon Seal and entered the Dragon Seal space. Inside the Dragon Seal space, Long Fu, what's the matter? Yes, Master. Originally, I wanted to give you this divine weapon when your strength reached a certain level. But now, it seems that you are in danger. With a divine weapon, you can at least save your life. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao was surprised. What kind of divine weapon was this? Master, look. Taking the mirror in Long Fu's hand, Longao saw that it was only the size of a palm, with two sides. The front side was engraved with strange patterns. As soon as he touched it, he felt a mysterious power from the mirror. Master, this divine weapon is called the God-punishing mirror. The two sides represent the two extremes of yin and yang. The God-punishing mirror can change the flow of time. I have tried my best, but I can change the flow of time for 3 seconds at most. Change the flow of time? Although he didn't know what Long Fu meant, Longao was very clear that the mirror in his hand was definitely not simple. Thinking about it, how could the mirror that Long Fu called a divine tool be an ordinary thing? Master, both sides of the God-punishing mirror can change the flow of time. The yang side can move time forward by 3 seconds. As for the yin side, it can rewind time by 3 seconds. Ferociously swallowing his own saliva, Long Ao's face was already shocked beyond compare. He changed the flow of time. The yang side could move time forward by 3 seconds, while the yin side could move time back by 3 seconds. If Long Fu hadn't told him personally, Long Ao wouldn't have believed it. Long Fu, how should I use this God-punishing mirror? He seemed a bit impatient. After all, the God Judgment Mirror was far too heaven-defying. If he used the God Judgment Mirror, then let alone instantly killing a martial artist on the same level, even jumping ranks to fight wouldn't be a problem. Then, Long Fu taught Longao how to use the God-punishing mirror. Master, the God-punishing mirror is extremely powerful. It even surpasses the God-sealing pearl. In other words, no matter how powerful an enemy you encounter is, even if it's an emptiness sovereign or a higher powerhouse, you can still change the flow of time. Like this, even if you can't beat them, you'll still have enough time to escape. Escape? For a martial artist, although escaping wasn't something to be proud of, Long Ao knew that where there was life, there was hope. After listening to Long Fu's words, Long Ao was extremely excited. If that was the case, wouldn't he be invincible with the God-punishing mirror? Without continuing to speak with Long Fu, Long Ao's soul left the dragon seal space. He glanced at Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul and said, "Wait for me here. I'll go meet Du Yunxian and Du Hushuan." Hearing Long Ao's words, the two were shocked. Ice Soul said, "Brother Long, you can't do that. According to legends, Du Yunxian and Du Hushuan's cultivation have already reached the earthly sovereign realm. If you go alone, won't it be very dangerous?" How could Long Ao not know about Ice Soul's worries? Long Ao smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'm confident." Without giving the two people any chance to speak, Long Ao's body had already scurried out, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. "Brother Ling Hu, Brother Long will be fine, right?" Ice Soul's face was filled with worry. "Is this your first day meeting Brother Long?" "Don't worry, if Brother Long is so confident, he'll be fine." "Ice Soul, I want to ask you, have you fallen in love with Brother Long?" Ice Soul's body trembled. She didn't know why Ling Hu Ning would ask her a question at a time like this. Shaking her head, Ice Soul said, "Brother Long and I are just friends." "Ice Soul, you can fool me, but you can't fool your heart." "Ice Soul, as a friend, I just want to give you a piece of advice. Don't get too close to Long Ao because you're not suitable for him, and he's not suitable for you. I don't want to see you sad in the future." Ice Soul trembled again, but she didn't say anything. Wu Yin chose to remain silent. Ling Hu Ning sighed deeply. This is what he feared the most. Long Ao didn't know about Ice Soul's thoughts. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so close to her. In Long Ao's heart, there are only two women. The first is Yu Yin Wang, who stuck with him for 10 years. She didn't give up on him and even destroyed her image for him. The second is Ao Xue, the first woman in his life. Both women are the same. If you don't give up on me, I will stick with you through life and death. That's why Long Ao's heart can't hold anyone else. The best outcome is for Ice Soul to never say anything and for Long Ao to never know. Otherwise, one will have to leave while the other will have to grieve alone. "Brother, this kid is really strong. Soul attack. All right, don't tell anyone about this. Remember, don't be an idiot. No matter what, we must get the soul attack cultivation method." Greed was written all over Du Hushuan's and Du Yunxuan's faces. After all, both of them knew very well what a soul attack meant. "Brother, what if this kid refuses to give us the soul attack cultivation method?" "Brother, your question really makes me speechless. Do you think he can refuse to give us the method just because he doesn't want to?" "I don't believe it." Du Hushuan's face was full of confidence. He had 100 ways to make Long Ao talk and hand over the soul attack cultivation method. If we can get the soul attack cultivation method and master it, we won't have to be afraid of a Tao ancestor. "You two shameless bastards, you think you can learn soul attack cultivation method?" Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian were stunned when they saw the black-clothed, white-haired youngster with a sneer on his face. Then, both of them burst into laughter. Du Yunxian said with a smile, "Long Ao, I have to admire your courage. You really don't know the difference between life and death. Don't think that you are invincible just because you defeated Zhang Zhihong using unorthodox methods. I can tell you clearly that you are nothing in our eyes." Chapter 198. Shaking his head, Long Ao's face was full of disdain. With such an elder, the Blood Sea sect was not far from being destroyed. "Long Ao, I'll give you a chance. As long as you hand over the cultivation method of the soul attack, I'll be magnanimous and let you go. In your dreams, Longao had already expected that the two of them would do this. After all, his soul attack was almost invincible. If his opponent was of the same level or a level higher, once his soul attack succeeded, he would definitely kill his opponent. Since you don't want to hand it over, I'll have to kill you first and slowly examine your soul. No matter what, they were both earthly emperors and elders of the Blood Sea sect. It was impossible for them to fight two against one. If this matter was accidentally leaked out, where would their face go? Where would Blood Sea sect's face go? Because of this, Du Yunxian chose to attack. The strength of an earthly emperor was obvious, so Du Yunxian was full of confidence. He didn't even need to use his full strength to easily kill his opponent and obtain the method of the soul attack. Longao didn't dare to be careless. When he punched out, he also activated the God-locking pearl. An invisible force spread out and instantly enveloped Du Yunxian. Du Yunxian, who was full of confidence, was surprised because he found that the space around him was frozen, and he was also locked. According to Longao's strength, the God-locking pearl could lock the opponent for 3 seconds at most. Longao was only a second transformation realm martial artist, while Du Yunxian was a genuine earthly emperor. The gap between the two was too big. Otherwise, the God-locking pearl alone would be enough to deal with Du Yunxian. Even so, Du Yunxian was shocked. Using all the strength in his body, he broke free in just 2 seconds. But at this time, Longao had already taken out the God-punishing mirror from his bosom. The God-punishing mirror wasn't very big. Du Yunxian and Du Hushuan couldn't see it at all. God-punishing mirror. Longao was looking forward to seeing how powerful the God-punishing mirror was. His soul power entered the God-punishing mirror and activated it instantly. Longao discovered one thing, and that was that any powerful divine item required a soul to activate, and the consumption was huge. The God-slaying mirror had 2 sides, yin and yang. The yang side could allow time to advance by 3 seconds, and as for the yin side, it could allow time to flow backward by 3 seconds. Longao first used the yang side of the God-punishing mirror. A strange power spread out, instantly changing the flow of time. Under Du Yunxuan's astonished gaze, he discovered that time had actually changed. It seemed to be moving forward. What exactly happened? At this moment, an even stranger and more shocking scene took place. Not only did time move forward, it even began to flow backward. Du Yunxian was completely stunned. Longao, you're courting death. Seeing his second brother standing there in a daze, Du Hushuan was surprised. Then, he chased after him. This was because Longao hadn't chosen to meet force with force. He had only come here to test out the might of the God Judgment Mirror. Now that he had tried it, he had truly experienced just how terrifying the might of the God Judgment Mirror was. Big brother, don't chase him. Looking at his second brother's shocked face, Du Hushuan asked in astonishment, Second brother, what happened? Were you hit by a soul attack again? Shaking his head, Du Hushuan was still unable to fathom how the other party had managed to accomplish such a feat. Thus, he recounted everything that had happened to him. After listening, Du Hushuan said with a smile, Second brother, I think you're too nervous. How is that possible? If this kid can change the flow of time, how could he only be in the transformation realm? Don't belittle yourself by praising others. Du Yunxian knew that his big brother wouldn't choose to believe him. Not to mention his big brother. Even he found it hard to believe. However, he had indeed experienced the change of time. If it weren't for the fact that Longao was weak, he believed that he would have already died. Big brother, I'm not joking. Longao really did change the flow of time. Perhaps he was too weak, so he didn't attack. Otherwise, I would have died without a doubt. Du Hushuan, who didn't believe it at first, finally began to believe it after seeing his second brother's dignified face. However, he still asked again, Second brother, are you sure that Longao can change the flow of time? Nodding heavily, Du Yunxian said, It's true, big brother. If I'm not mistaken, the reason why Longao was able to defeat Zhang Zhihong and resist Zhang Mo's attack in the Ghost King sect, besides having a soul attack, I'm afraid that he can change the flow of time. Since his second brother had said so, Even if Du Hushuan didn't want to believe it, he had to. Du Hushuan's face became extremely dignified because he knew very well what it meant to change the flow of time. Not to mention a small transformation realm martial artist, he believed that even the legendary world emperor couldn't do this. The 8 realms of nothingness were divided into the disaster realm, venerable realm, supreme realm, earth venerable realm, empyrean realm, great venerable realm, world king realm, and world emperor realm. World emperor was a legendary super powerhouse. Changing the flow of time was simply unheard of. He had never even heard of such a thing. Big brother, how did Longao do it? I don't know, but changing the flow of time is no small matter. We have to inform the master as soon as possible. If we can obtain the method to use a soul attack as well as the method to change the flow of time, I believe it will be a great help to our strength. Du Yunxian nodded. How could he not know what his big brother meant? Second brother, remember one thing? You absolutely cannot leak this out. Otherwise, it will be very troublesome. Big brother, I know. Whether it was a soul attack or changing the flow of time, once it was leaked out, it would definitely shock the entire Martial Sky continent. At that time, countless experts would come, not just from the 6 great sects, but also from the other 8 prefectures. They would all be looking for Longao. If that was the case, it would be very troublesome for the Blood Sea sect to continue to obtain him. Longao, who had fled far away, was excited to the extreme. He had just personally witnessed the power of the God Punishment Mirror. As long as he had this mirror in his hand, he would be invincible. Just as Long Fu had said, even if he encountered a nothingness martial artist, as long as he changed the flow of time, even if he couldn't defeat them, he would be able to smoothly escape. At the same time, Longao also discovered that the combination of the God-binding pearl and the God-punishing mirror was simply flawless. His strength was still not enough. If he could break through to the human king realm, even if it was just a high-level human king, he had full confidence that he could kill Du Yunxian and Du Hushuan with the help of the 2 divine tools. Chapter 199. Brother Long, how was it? Seeing Long Ao return safely, Ice Spirit and Ling Hu Ning let out a long sigh of relief. As for Ice Spirit, the 2 did not mention a word. As for the God Punishment Mirror, Long Ao did not mention much. He smiled and said, I just did an experiment on the 2 of them. It felt pretty good. Did an experiment on the 2 of them? Felt pretty good? Hearing this, both Ice Spirit and Ling Hu Ning were confused. They did not know what Long Ao was trying to do. One had to know that Du Yunxian and Du Hushuan were both genuine earthly sovereigns. However, Long Ao was only in the transformation realm. If it were anyone else, they would want to stay away from the 2 of them. However, what about Long Ao? On the contrary, he took the initiative to find them and did an experiment on them. If they did not hear Long Ao say it with their own ears, they would not believe it. All right, let's continue. Seeing that Long Ao was unwilling to continue, the 2 of them did not continue to ask anything. Friends should be like this. What should be asked, what should not be asked, the 2 of them knew clearly in their hearts. Long Ao, Ling Hu Ning, and Ice Spirit were all very strong. If the 3 of them worked together, as long as they did not encounter a sovereign stage spirit beast, they could end the battle quickly. In just 2 days, the 3 of them killed nearly 100 spirit beasts. Among them, 3 were in the transformation realm. The souls of these spirit beasts were all sent into the dragon seal space. As for the corpses and beast cores, they were placed in the Chinkuan bag that Ling Hu Ning had prepared. Brother Long, Ice Spirit, look. Following the direction that Ling Hu Ning was pointing at, Long Ao and Ice Spirit were also somewhat shocked, because in the distance, 2 dark black tigers, one big and one small, the small one was obviously just a cub, were being besieged by a group of raging flame demon apes. The tall black tiger could not hold on any longer. It could fall at any time. Obviously, the big black tiger and the small black tiger were mother and son. In order to protect her son, the big black tiger was heavily injured. Otherwise, with the black tiger's strength, it would have broken out of the encirclement. Brother Long, let's go. It's best not to get involved in this kind of trouble. Ling Hu Ning did not want to get into trouble because there were over 20 devil flaming apes, and each of them was a transformed spirit beast. Even if the three of them wanted to help, they would be powerless. But for some reason, Longao felt a sense of pity when he saw the little fellow dodging in a panic. Even Longao himself didn't know what was wrong with him. "Brother Linghu, Ice Spirit, wait for me in the cave. I'll be right back." Linghu Ning and Ice Spirit knew exactly what Longao wanted to do. They said in unison, "Brother Long, you can't do that. It's not worth risking your life for two spiritual beasts." Longao waved his hand. Once he had decided on something, he would not change his mind. Longao also knew what the demonic fire ape strength meant. Whether it was Ice Spirit or Linghu Ning, it was impossible for them to be a match for the demonic fire ape. It was because of this that Longao was prepared to fight alone. Taking a deep look at Longao, Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning knew each other's character very well. So, they did not waste any more words and turned to leave. In the end, Linghu Ning and Ice Spirit were very confident in Longao. Otherwise, they would not have left in peace. In any case, Longao could even defeat Zhang Zhihong, let alone a group of devil-flaming apes. After the two left, Longao did not continue to hesitate. He did not know how long the two black tigers could last. The Nine-Abyss Netherworld Tiger was one of the most powerful spirit beasts. The Nine-Abyss Netherworld Spider and Nine-Abyss Netherworld Tiger belonged to the same race, but there was a huge difference in their strength. It was like the Giant Dragon Clan and the Dragon Snake Clan. They belonged to the same race, but their strength and level were different. Pong. The mother was hit by the devil-flaming apes consecutively. Her body was sent flying. Just as the devil-flaming apes were about to attack the cub, Longao had already arrived and picked up the cub. Seeing the sudden appearance of a human, the devil-flaming apes were completely enraged. One after another, they attacked Longao endlessly. One devil-flaming ape was not scary. What was scary was the joint attack of more than 20 devil-flaming apes. Moreover, they were all in the transformation realm. Although Longao was very confident in himself, he knew his limits. Holding the cub, he did not abandon the mother. A mother who was willing to sacrifice herself for her child was the greatest. Carrying the injured mother, Longao turned and left quickly. With Longao's speed, the devil-flaming apes would definitely not be able to catch up. After running for a few minutes, Longao realized that the devil-flaming apes did not continue to chase after him. Only then did Longao let out a sigh of relief. Returning to the cave, seeing that Longao had saved the two Netherworld Tigers, the two of them did not know what to say. They stood aside quietly and let Longao deal with it himself. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Looking at his dying mother lying on the ground, Longao could not understand the language of spiritual beasts. He could only convey his mother's message through Longchong. After conveying the message, Longao finally understood his mother's meaning. It was very simple. She wanted him to take care of his child and transfer all his power to the child after his death. In the end, at the moment of his mother's death, she told Longao a secret. That was, his mother had a supreme spiritual beast gold core. As long as the child took it, he believed that in a very short period of time, the little cub would grow up. "Don't worry. I'll take good care of the little guy for you. You're the greatest." Without hesitation, Longao transferred all his mother's power to the cub. As for the supreme spiritual beast gold core, he sent it into the dragon seal space for Long Fu to cultivate. This way, there would be no danger, and it could help the little guy to grow up better. Carrying the little guy, Longao said dotingly, "From now on, you'll follow me. Netherworld Tiger. From now on, you'll be called Long Ming. Long Chong, Long Ming. A dragon and a tiger. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo." Looking at the crying little guy, Longao did not have to guess to know that the little guy must be sad over his mother's death. Sighing deeply in his heart, he gave Linghu Ning a look. Linghu Ning understood and buried the Netherworld Tiger's body immediately. "Little guy, don't worry. I'll definitely take revenge for you." As though he could understand Longao's words, the little guy nodded his head, looking extremely cute. Even though Long Ming's body was small, his strength was already really strong. He was already an official post-celestial. If he could consume the supreme spiritual beast gold core, his strength would definitely be able to break through. Even reaching the thunder calamity state wouldn't be an issue. Not only that, Longao had even signed a contract with the little guy, just like Long Chong. Chapter 200. Perhaps the little fellow was too sad and gradually fell asleep. After putting the little fellow into the dragon seal space, Linghu Ning walked over with a hesitant expression. Brother Linghu, please speak your mind. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. You just obtained a supreme spiritual beast's golden core. If you can devour it, I believe that your cultivation will be able to break through to the nihility realm in a short period of time. Why did you give it to this little fellow for nothing? Without waiting for Longao to speak, Linghu Ning continued, the most important thing is to increase your strength. As for the little fellow, you can slowly compensate him in the future. Regarding Linghu Ning's meaning, how could Longao not know? Seemingly surprised, Longao asked, Brother Linghu, you know about the Void Eight Realms? Linghu Ning nodded and said, I learned about it by accident. It's hard to imagine that there are Void Eight Realms above the Transformation Realm. Soul didn't know what the two were talking about. She asked curiously, what are these Void Eight Realms? Soul, above the Transformation Realm that we know, there are even better martial artists. They are called the Void Realm and are divided into 8 realms. The Void 8 realms, from lowest to highest, are the Disaster Realm, Honorable Realm, Supreme Realm, Earthly Honorable Realm, Heavenly Honorable Realm, Great Honorable Realm, World King Realm, and World Emperor Realm. Void 8 realms? Spirit was shocked when she heard Linghu Ning's words. Because in her perception, the Tao Ancestor Realm was the pinnacle of martial arts. However, she had never thought that there were 8 void realms above the Tao Ancestor Realm. It seemed like the so-called Xiantian Realm was nothing to martial arts. When the 9 Netherworld Tiger died, it gave Brother Long a supreme golden core. It's the condensed energy of a supreme martial artist before his death. Once Brother Long consumes it, Linghu Ning didn't continue. The meaning in his words was clear. The sovereign golden core was the accumulation of all the power of a sovereign warrior. Of course, Spirit knew what the sovereign golden core represented. He looked at Longao. Brother Long, I think Brother Linghu is right. You'll be participating in the 6-sect battle royale in 15 days. With your current strength, it's impossible for you to compete for the sovereign golden pill. Since that's the case, why don't you use the sovereign golden pill first and help the little guy increase his strength later? Spirit and Linghu Ning had the same idea. Regarding Ice Soul and Linghu Ning's intentions, Longao was crystal clear. But could he agree? Without the slightest hesitation, Longao shook his head and refused. No matter what happens, I will not use this sovereign golden core. Why is that? Now that the little guy is my brother, my partner, I can't steal from my brother. Also, this sovereign golden pill is the last thing that the little guy's mother left for him. Can I use it myself? Brothers? Linghu Ning and Ice Soul had never thought that Longao would treat the little fellow as a brother. If that was the case, Longao indeed couldn't take the little guy's sovereign golden pill. It wouldn't be fair, whether it was for public or private reasons. But Linghu Ning and Ice Soul were still unwilling. After all, they knew very well what the sovereign golden pill meant. They felt sorry for Longao for giving up such an opportunity. But the 6-sect battle royale was only a month away. At that time, it wouldn't be easy for Longao to snatch the sovereign golden pill from the 60 experts of the 6 sections. If Longao could devour the sovereign golden pill, even if there were only 15 days left, Longao's strength would be greatly enhanced. It would be of great help to him in obtaining the sovereign golden pill. Regarding Linghu Ning and Ice Soul's worries in their hearts, how could Longao not know? With a smile, Longao said, Brother Linghu, Ice Soul, I know you're doing this for my own good. But sometimes, we have to be clear about what we should do and what we shouldn't do. Otherwise, we won't be able to face ourselves. Hearing Longao's words, Linghu Ning and Ice Soul seemed to be deeply touched. They both nodded in agreement. Brother Long, the little fellow was so sad just now. Are you really going to avenge the little fellow? This hatred must be avenged. Sure enough, the two of them knew Longao's character too well. Since they had already promised the little guy, they would definitely take revenge. If it was an ordinary spirit beast or only a demonic flame ape, then the two of them would not have the slightest worry. But the situation was completely different now. The other party had more than 20 demonic flame apes. Who knew if there were more reinforcements? Once they formed a group, would Longao be able to withstand it? The two were very confident in Longao's strength. Confidence was confidence, but it wasn't that simple to actually do it. 1 against 20, the slightest mistake could lead to eternal damnation. It was precisely because of this that the two of them didn't want Longao to take the risk. However, before the two of them could speak, Longao had already said, "You guys stay here and wait for me later. I must avenge the little guy." The two sighed deeply in their hearts. They knew Longao's character very well. So, the two didn't continue to persuade him. Nodding, Ice Soul said, "We don't have the slightest opinion about your revenge, but we must go with you. Yes, we live together. If we die together." Looking at the two friends in front of him, Longao would be lying if he said he wasn't moved. Chapter 201. Mutated Spirit Beast? Longao certainly knew what a mutated spirit beast represented. "Long Fu, what should I do?" "Master, leave this to me. It will mutate in about 10 days. Okay. Longao was obviously very happy and excited. He didn't stay in the dragon seal space because he couldn't help it all if the little guy mutated. After chatting with the two for a while, Longao left the valley. As for Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning, they stayed behind to guard. The demonic flame ape was one of the stronger spirit beasts. It was also the most ferocious spirit beast. It especially liked to hunt other spirit beasts, eat their meat, and drink their blood. There were a total of 23 raging flame demonic apes besieging the 9 netherworld tiger. Under normal circumstances, it was impossible for Longao to kill the group of raging flame demonic apes alone. However, for the little fellow, he had to take the risk. Seeing the group of demonic flame apes, Longao didn't hesitate at all and directly rushed forward. He wanted to end the battle quickly and leave no one alive. Holding the Bloodthirst blade, Longao slashed down fiercely. The Bloodthirst 8 styles overlapped layer by layer. The shocking blade light was like a meteor. It was very fast. Maybe it was because they weren't prepared, or they didn't expect that there would be an enemy sneak attack in the forest. So, Longao's slash directly killed a demonic flame ape. Anger. Seeing that their tribesmen were killed, the other demonic flame apes roared in anger and attacked Longao crazily. Not daring to be careless, Longao used the God Sealing Pearl again and prepared to lock on these demonic flame apes. The God Sealing Pearl was activated, and a powerful aura spread and shrouded all the demonic flame apes. In a battle of the same level, Longao could use the God Sealing Pearl to lock down the demonic flame ape for 10 seconds. What did 10 seconds mean? He believed that everyone was clear about it. In a battle of the same level, if one was locked down for 10 seconds, there was a chance that one would be slaughtered. It was because of this that the demonic flame apes suffered a tragedy. Longao did not miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As soon as the God-locking pearl locked onto all the demonic flame apes, he immediately started slaughtering them. In less than 10 seconds, more than 20 demonic flame apes were slaughtered, and all of their souls were sent into the dragon seal space. As for the beast cores and corpses, Longao didn't waste them. These would become the backing of the family, and would be of great help to the family when the time comes. Less than an hour had passed. Seeing Longao bring back a group of corpses, and they were all corpses of demonic flame apes, both Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning were extremely shocked. "Is this true? Brother Long, how did you do it?" "I was just lucky." Hearing the word lucky, Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning wanted nothing more than to beat up Longao. If everything could be so lucky, then everyone was willing to be lucky. However, Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning didn't continue asking. The two of them also knew that with Longao's current strength, He was invincible among the Transformation Realm cultivators. They didn't know what would happen if he encountered a human King Realm cultivator. Longao defeated Zhang Zhihong, who was at the peak of the earthly sovereign realm in the Ghost King sect. According to the rumors, Longao relied on some kind of secret technique, so it couldn't be considered Longao's true strength. Brother Long, I feel that if we continue to train in the Flame Forest, it won't be of any help to your strength. Longao nodded. He knew what Linghu Ning meant. He had already thought about this problem. In the Flame Forest, it was simply too difficult to encounter spiritual beasts above the human king realm. As for spiritual beasts below the transformation realm, it wasn't a challenge at all. If this continued, he would still be at the second transformation realm in the Six Sect Battle Royale half a month later. It wouldn't be of any help to him in the fight for the Sovereign Golden Pill. If he didn't train in the Flame Forest, how could he increase his strength quickly? Brother Long, I have a suggestion, but I don't know if you're willing. Please speak, Brother Linghu. After thinking for a while, Linghu Ning finally said, Brother Long, I heard that you have a good relationship with Xia Jun of the Sound of Thunder sect. Is this true? Although Longao didn't know what Linghu Ning meant, he didn't hide anything. He nodded and said, Xia Jun is my friend? Brother Long, there's something you don't know. Within the Thunder sect, there's a forbidden ground called the Thunder Valley. It's said that it's a natural place of thunder and lightning. Many experts of the Thunder sect were refined from there. Thunder Valley? Thunder Forbidden Area. Hearing this, Longao's face turned grave. He knew clearly that although he and Xia Jun were friends, Xia Jun wasn't the master of the Sound of Thunder sect. Making things difficult for Xia Jun because of this wasn't something a friend would do. Brother Long, according to the rumors, this Thunder Valley of the Sound of Thunder sect can not only increase one's cultivation, but also refine one's body. Back then, a senior of the Sound of Thunder sect used the refinement of the Thunder Valley to form an extremely strong physical body. It could even compare to the defense of a colossal dragon. Seeing that Longao didn't say anything and just listened quietly, Linghu Ning naturally knew what Longao was afraid of. Brother Long, I know that you don't want to make things difficult for your friend. If it were any other time, I wouldn't have mentioned this at all. However, your situation now is different. It seemed like he didn't want to say more. However, things had already come to this point. Linghu Ning was really anxious for Longao. Brother Long, you have tried so hard to take away Aoshue. You have already passed the first 2 stages. Are you going to be destroyed in the 3rd stage? Although I don't know how you can increase your strength in an instant, I can imagine that doing so will definitely backfire. Since that's the case, why don't you give it a try? Perhaps with your relationship with Xia Jun, the Sound of Thunder sect will agree to it. Before Longao could say anything, Ice Spirit also said, Brother Long, the Thunder Valley is the only chance for you to increase your strength quickly. We hope that you can take away Aoshue. We don't want to see you give up halfway and regret it for the rest of your life. Looking at Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning, Longao still couldn't make up his mind. Brother Long, think about it. If Aoshue marries Zhang Zhihong, what will you do then? At the mention of Aoshue and Zhang Zhihong, Longao's face changed instantly. Then, it was filled with determination. Clenching his fists tightly, he said, You guys are right. Since things have come to this point, I can't give up halfway. Brother Linghu, Ice Spirit, I'll send you guys back to Flame City first. After that, I'll go to the Sound of Thunder sect to look for Xia Jun. Seeing that Longao had finally agreed, the 2 of them were extremely surprised. Ice Spirit waved her hand and said with a smile, We're not 3-year-old children. We don't need you to send us back. You do what you need to do. We can go back ourselves. If that's the case, I'll go first. Go. Longao didn't hesitate. He turned around and left quickly. He knew that strength was more important than anything to him now. Chapter 202. After Longao left, Linghu Ning and Bingpu did not stay any longer. The 2 of them prepared to leave the Flame Forest and return to Flame City to transport everything back to the Long family in Scarlet Fire Town. As soon as the 2 of them stepped out of the Flame Forest, they saw Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian. Their faces instantly changed as they knew how powerful Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian were. I didn't expect that instead of Longao, you too would come out. But it's the same. As elders of the Blood River sect, aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by others? Ridiculed? Hearing this, Du Heshuan and Du Yunxian burst into laughter. Their laughter was filled with disdain and contempt. There's no one around, no one can see. Ling Hu Ning, if the two of you follow us obediently, we won't make things difficult for you. But if you don't cooperate, don't blame us for being ruthless. Ling Hu Ning and Bing Pe did not choose to compromise. But in the end, they were no match for the two of them and were subdued. Du Yunxian, Du Heshuan, how dare you call yourselves elders of the Blood River sect? Ignoring their curses, Du Yunxian said, Big brother, now that we've captured the two of them, what should we do next? Go back. In the six-sect battle royale, as long as the two of them are in our hands, I don't believe that Longao will watch them die without helping them. Shameless, despicable. Du Yunxian knocked the two of them unconscious and said, Big brother, you want to exchange the two of them for the sovereign golden pills? Nodding his head, Du Heshuan smiled and said, Longao is a righteous person. I believe that he won't ignore the life and death of his friends. As long as the two of them are in our hands, we will definitely get the sovereign golden pills. Du Yunxian didn't think much of it. In his opinion, Longao was still a metamorphosis martial artist. Even if he could use soul attacks and change the flow of time, it wouldn't be easy for him to snatch the sovereign golden pills from the disciples of the six sections. Du Heshuan seemed to be able to read his second brother's mind. He smiled and said, Are you doubting Longao's strength? Big brother, you and I both know that Longao's strength is only trash. If you say that Longao can really snatch away the sovereign golden pill, I don't believe it. Second brother, I can guarantee that Longao will definitely come out on top in this six-sect battle royale. Du Yunxian seemed a little surprised, because he didn't expect his big brother to be so supportive of Longao. Could it be that Longao could really obtain the sovereign golden core in the six sects battle for supremacy? Even now, Du Yunxian was still in disbelief. Du Heshuan didn't say anything else. The two of them quickly left with Ice Soul and Ling Hu Ning. From beginning to end, Longao didn't know about this. The Sound of Thunder sect was one of the 6 major sections. It was as famous as the Flame sect, and its strength was above the other 4 major sections. The Sound of Thunder sect supported the Sound of Thunder Empire, and it was on par with the Flame Empire, occupying half of the secular world. It wasn't hard to imagine how strong the Sound of Thunder sect was. Longao rushed to the Sound of Thunder sect at his fastest speed, but he was stopped by the 2 disciples guarding the gate. Wait, who are you? How dare you barge into the Sound of Thunder sect? Longao of Scarlet Flame Town. Scarlet Flame Town? Although the news about Longao had spread throughout Tianzhou, the two of them didn't expect the legendary figure to descend from the sky. Therefore, when the two of them heard the words Scarlet Flame Town, their hearts were filled with disdain. As for the name Longao, the two of them didn't even hear it. A mere secular disciple dares to barge into the Sound of Thunder sect. This alone is enough to warrant the death penalty. A dog relying on its master's power. Kid, what did you just say? Hearing that the other party dared to scold them, the 2 disciples were immediately enraged. Their eyes were spitting fire, as if they could attack at any time. What kind of joke was this? This was the Sound of Thunder sect. Who would dare to be presumptuous here? Not to mention that the other party was just a mere secular disciple. Even if the other 5 sects' disciples came, they wouldn't put them in their eyes. Get lost. Ha ha ha, you're telling us to get lost? You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. The two of them chose to ignore Longao's words and laughed loudly, as if they had heard the funniest thing in the world. Kid, was your head kicked by a donkey, or did water enter your brain? How dare you act presumptuously here? I'm officially informing you now that your life is ours. The two of them were full of confidence. With their strength at the peak of the post-liminary realm, dealing with a mere secular disciple was like playing around. Moreover, they had the Sound of Thunder sect behind them. Even if they killed the other party, they believed that no one would dare to cause trouble for the Sound of Thunder sect. Because of this, the two of them didn't continue to hesitate. They were like hungry wolves, fiercely pouncing on Longao. Longao's luck could be said to be bad. These two disciples of the Sound of Thunder sect were originally outer sect disciples with decent positions. However, they had made a mistake and were demoted to guard the gate. The two of them had been suppressing their anger with nowhere to vent, and Longao was the perfect outlet. However, the two of them had found the wrong target to vent their anger on. The two of them left quickly, but returned even faster. Moreover, they screamed miserably as they were sent flying. Before the two of them could figure out what had happened, their bodies had made the most intimate contact with the ground. If it weren't for Xiajun's face, just this move alone would have killed the two of them countless times. Resisting the waves of pain coming from their bodies, the two of them climbed up with great difficulty. Their expressions changed, but they still roared arrogantly, "You actually dared to hurt us. I'll make you suffer. I'd like to see how you'll make me suffer." Longao looked at the two of them with interest. He wasn't in a hurry to find Xiajun. He wanted to see what kind of tricks these two gatekeepers could play. Just as the two of them were about to call for reinforcements, a figure shot down from the Sound of Thunder Mountain. His speed was extremely fast. Seeing this person, the two of them were delighted. They laughed weirdly and said, "Kid, our young master is here. If you have the ability, don't run. I'd like to see what's given to you." Slap. Before he could finish his words, Xiajun, who had just arrived, slapped him directly on the face. It seemed like he had used a lot of strength. This slap directly slapped the disciple to the ground. The other person was so shocked that he didn't know what had happened. He just stood there dumbfounded. "You two trash. You have eyes but can't see Mount Tai. How dare you provoke my brother? I think you're tired of living." "Your brother?" Just now, they had provoked the young master's brother? Hearing Xiajun's words, the two of them were almost scared to death. They immediately knelt down in fear and kowtowed repeatedly, begging for mercy. Provoking the young master? They wouldn't even know how they died. Chapter 203. Seeing that Xiajun was about to make a move, Longao hurriedly stopped him. "Brother Long, Brother Xia, just teach them a lesson?" "Humph, for Brother Long's sake, I'll let the two of you off for now. Remember, keep your eyes open in the future." Seeing the two fiends leaving, the two disciples of the Thunder sect knelt on the ground, trembling in fear. They had no idea what had just happened, as if they had just walked through the gates of hell. Since when did the young master have such a brother? Wait, Brother Long. That man said he's called Longao. Could he be the Longao who caused a ruckus in the Ghost King sect? Thinking of this, the two disciples' faces were filled with despair. They clearly knew what it meant to offend the young master. Although they managed to keep their lives, it would be impossible for them to be valued by the sect in the future. Thunderbolt Peak, in a beautiful pavilion at the back of the mountain, Longao didn't care about admiring the scenery of Thunder Peak. He didn't even wait for Xiajun to ask. He went straight to the point and said, "Brother Xia, I asked you to come here this time mainly because I need your help with something. Speak." Of course, Xiajun knew that with Longao's character, he wouldn't look for him if it wasn't for something important. "Brother Xia, I heard that there's a forbidden area in the Thunder sect called Thunderbolt Valley." In an instant, Xiajun already knew the purpose of Longao's visit. With a slightly solemn face, he asked, "Brother Long, are you here to train in Thunderbolt Valley?" Since things had already come to this point, Longao didn't hold back. He nodded and said, "That's right. Brother Xia, I believe you also know that the Six Sects Battle Royale will begin in 12 days. With my current strength, it will be extremely difficult for me to obtain the Sovereign Golden Pill during the battle. Therefore, during this period of time, I must quickly increase my strength." Needless to say, Xiajun knew the reason. How could a person who dared to offend the Ghost King sect and Golden Sun sect for a woman give up so easily? If an ordinary person came to look for Xiajun, they would definitely be rejected. But Longao was different. Xiajun treated Longao as a true friend. "Brother Xia, is it very troublesome?" "Brother Long, I treat you as a true friend. So when I tell you the truth, this matter is really troublesome." Xiajun thought for a moment before continuing. "Thunderbolt Valley is a forbidden area of my Thunderbolt sect. Not to mention outsiders, Even our sect's disciples are not allowed to casually enter. As expected, Longao wasn't surprised at all. If the Sound of Thunder sect allowed outsiders to enter the Thunder Valley, then the Thunder Valley wouldn't be a forbidden area. Brother Xia, if this matter is too difficult, then there's no need for it. Waving his hand, Xia Jun said with a resolute expression, "Calm down. No matter what, I will let you enter Thunderbolt Valley." Looking at the departing Xia Jun, Longao had a very good impression of this person. Such a friend was worth befriending no matter what. 10 minutes later, Xia Jun brought the Sound of Thunder sect's master, Xia Fong, over personally and gave Longao a signal with his eyes. Xia Jun didn't say anything, but Xia Fong smiled and said, "So it's Longao. I heard from Jun that you want to enter Thunderbolt Valley to train?" Xia Fong obviously knew why Longao was so eager to enter Thunderbolt Valley, so he went straight to the point and didn't beat around the bush. Longao also didn't dawdle. He nodded his head and said, "In the 6th Sect Battle Royale 12 days later, I must obtain the Sovereign Golden Pill. Therefore, I want to enter Thunderbolt Valley to train. I hope Master Xia can agree." If it wasn't for Aoshue, Longao would definitely not do this. Nodding his head, Xia Fong said, "Sure, but you have to agree to 2 conditions." Longao didn't answer immediately because he didn't know what conditions Xia Fong would raise. If Xia Fong wanted him to commit suicide, did he have to agree? The first condition is that in the 6th Sect Battle Royale 12 days later, my Sound of Thunder sect will do our best to help you obtain the Sovereign Golden Pill. However, you have to cooperate with Jun, and the rest to kill the disciples of the other sections. How about it? Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he understood the meaning behind Xia Fong's words. Without a doubt, he wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to eliminate the strength of the other sects and strengthen his own strength. The 6 major sects had always been fighting openly and covertly to eliminate each other. This 6th Sect Battle Royale was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Longao thought for a moment and said, "I can agree to this condition." As if he had already guessed that Longao would agree, Xia Fong smiled and continued, "The second condition is that I hope you can become a guest elder of my Sound of Thunder sect. This way, you can enter the Thunder Valley naturally, and I believe that no one will say anything." As if afraid that Longao would misunderstand, Xia Jun said, "Brother Long, there are many stubborn old men in the sect. If you don't do this, I'm afraid that they won't agree. Furthermore, the guest elder won't restrict your freedom. As long as the sect is in trouble, you can just lend a hand." So that's how it is. Since things had already reached this stage, Longao didn't continue to hesitate. He nodded his head and said, "Master Xia, I agree to these 2 conditions." "Haha, good. Longao, if you don't mind, you can call me uncle." He really knew how to take advantage of others. However, for Xia Jun's sake, Longao still called out, "Uncle Xia." "Very good. Longao, since you've already agreed, I'll tell you about the Thunder Valley." Longao immediately became focused. This was because he was looking forward to entering the Thunder Valley. According to Ling Hu Ning, one could borrow the power of thunder and lightning to temper their body and strengthen their physical defense in the Thunder Valley. Longao placed great importance on this point. This was because no matter how strong one was, there would always be a day of bad luck. If one were to be hit by an enemy, if one's physical defense was strong enough, they would at least be able to withstand the attack with just their physical defense alone. Longao, the Thunder Valley is a forbidden area of my Sound of Thunder sect. It has the strongest power of thunder and lightning in the world. However, Unification Realm martial artists and Dao Ancestor martial artists can't enter. Uncle Xia, why is that? Longao was puzzled. He didn't know why Unification Realm martial artists and Dao Ancestor martial artists couldn't enter. Because of the Thunder Calamity and 100 Calamity. The Thunder Valley itself has the power of thunder and lightning. If you attract your own Thunder Calamity in the Thunder Valley, it will be very troublesome. Moreover, as long as you enter the Thunder Valley, other than being able to increase your strength, you can also borrow the power of thunder and lightning to temper your body. Xia Jun, who had been silent all this while, said with a smile, "Brother Long, let me tell you a secret. In my Sound of Thunder sect, There's a legend that if one can borrow the power of thunder and lightning in the Thunder Valley to temper his body and reach the highest realm, he can achieve the purple thunder divine body. At that time, just the physical defense alone would be enough to contend against a huge dragon. However, after so many years, no one has ever been able to cultivate the purple thunder divine body. Chapter 204. Purple Thunder Godly Body. 2 hours later. Thunderbolt Valley, the forbidden area of the Sound of Thunder sect. Ordinary disciples could not enter. Brother Long, you have to be careful. Not everyone who enters Thunderbolt Valley can come out alive. Understood. Don't worry. Longao did not continue to hesitate. He seemed to be somewhat impatient as he walked towards the Thunderbolt Valley in front of him. In a short while, he had already disappeared without a trace. Junior, no matter what, you have to build a good relationship with him. Don't follow in the footsteps of the Ghost King sect and Golden Sun sect. Xia Jun nodded. He clearly knew that Longao's talent and potential had impressed his father. Otherwise, his father would not have allowed an outsider to enter Thunderbolt Valley to train. This was the first time in the Sound of Thunder sect. Thunderbolt Valley, purple mist lingered. Thunderbolt Valley, the huge area was filled with purple mist, giving people a hazy feeling. Longao raised his spirit and walked carefully. According to Xia Jun, the place where the lightning energy was the strongest in the Thunderbolt Valley was the deepest part of the Thunderbolt Valley. However, very few people were able to reach there. There's no resistance at all? Sensing that there was no resistance, Longao was very curious. He did not know what was going on. According to Xia Jun, there was a huge resistance towards the deepest part of Thunderbolt Valley. It was not an easy task to enter. However, there seemed to be no resistance at all as he easily reached the deepest part of Thunderbolt Valley. Longao did not know that the reason why he did not feel any resistance was because of the lightning calamity that he possessed. The lightning calamity was one of the strongest forces in the world. In other words, Longao's lightning calamity began to devour the surrounding purple lightning the moment he entered Thunderbolt Valley. As the forbidden area of Thunderbolt Valley, the entire valley was filled with purple lightning. Stepping into Thunderbolt Valley, Longao finally figured out what was going on in Thunderbolt Valley. It could be said that Thunderbolt Valley was like a huge storage space. It received the lightning calamity from the world. It did not dissipate nor did it disappear. It was stored just like that. Arriving at the deepest part of Thunderbolt Valley, Longao sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. In the Dragon Seal space. Long Fu, do you have any way to help me achieve the purple lightning godly body? Master, the purple thunder divine body is considered the lowest level of divine body. However, with your current strength, achieving the purple thunder divine body is still unbearable. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao deeply sighed. It would be a pity to miss such a rare opportunity, but there was no other way. Long Fu had already said that with his current strength, he was unable to withstand the purple lightning divine body. Master, the lightning energy here is very strong. I can temporarily store this lightning energy. Later, when Master strength increases, I can help you condense the purple thunder divine body. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao was overjoyed. Master, this is a good place to cultivate. However, it should be impossible to break through to sovereign personage. Of course, Longao could understand the meaning behind Long Fu's words. Without saying anything, he left the Dragon Seal space and immediately began to cultivate wholeheartedly. Just like this, time passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had already passed. Not bad. In just 3 days, you have already broken through to third metamorphosis from second metamorphosis realm. Such talent and potential. I don't seem to have seen you before. Hearing the sudden voice, Longao was startled. He opened his eyes and looked at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of him. He immediately became vigilant. According to what the other party said, he had just entered Thunderbolt Valley 3 days ago and was already discovered by the other party. However, he did not notice it at all. If this person wanted to deal with him, it was hard to imagine. Even if he was killed, it would probably be in a daze. Who are you? Ha ha ha, who am I? You entered Thunderbolt Valley and actually asked who I am. What a joke. Let me ask you, who are you? Longao let out a sigh of relief. He realized that the young man in front of him was a straightforward person. He said, Scarlet Fire Town's Long family. Sound of Thunder Sects do goodbye. Sound of Thunder Sects do goodbye? Hearing the other party's self-introduction, Longao was even more shocked. This was because Longao was not unfamiliar with the name Dugubai. As the number one person of the younger generation in Tianzhou, Dugubai's name resounded throughout the entire Tianzhou. Dugubai was a super genius of the Sound of Thunder sect that had not appeared in 100 years. Before the age of 30, he had already reached the Dao Ancestor realm, which was the so-called peak of Metamorphosis realm. He was only one step away from officially entering the Void realm. More importantly, Sound of Thunder sect's Dugubai was ranked number 1 on the Wind Cloud ranking. Longao, Scarlet Fire Town. If I'm not wrong, you're the Longao who caused havoc in Ghost King sect, defeated Zhang Zhihong, and fought against Zhang Emo?
Yes.
Longao was not surprised that Dugubai knew him. After all, the incident of him causing havoc in Ghost King sect was too shocking. It had already spread throughout the entire Tianzhou. As the number one person of the Sound of Thunder sect, it was impossible for Dugubai to not know about it. Longao, I'm curious. Thunder Valley is a forbidden area of the sect. Chapter 205. Longao nodded. He did not deny this point. The 6 great sects would send their strongest disciples to the 6th sect war of supremacy. It could be said that the disciples participating in the 6th sect war of supremacy were all people on the Wind Cloud ranking. A cultivator with 3 transformations was nothing in the 6th sect war of supremacy. Brother Long, I'll get straight to the point. In the remaining 9 days, I can help you break through to sovereign personage. With your talent and potential, I believe you will be able to gain a spot in the 6th sect war of supremacy. What method? Even Long Fu did not have a method. Hence, Longao felt very curious. He wondered what method Dugubai had that could help him break through to sovereign personage. Longao knew very well that although there was only a difference of 1 cultivation realm between a cultivator with 3 transformations and a sovereign personage, the two were not on the same level. The difference was huge. Brother Long, this is your first time entering Thunder Valley. Hence, tempering your energy is the most effective. Come with me. Longao followed Dugubai out of the depths and arrived before a huge purple-black rock. He pointed at the huge rock and said, Brother Long, this huge purple lightning rock is the essence that I have accumulated over the years. Sit on it and cultivate. You should be able to break through to sovereign personage in 7 days. Longao nodded and did not stand on ceremony. He thanked Dugubai and went to sit down cross-legged on the huge purple lightning rock. Then, he immediately entered a state of cultivation. Indeed, as expected, just as he sat on the ground and entered a state of cultivation, Longao discovered the difference in the purple lightning boulder. In just an instant, he was enveloped by a terrifying lightning force, swallowing and spitting back and forth, constantly tempering the power in his body. Dugubai, who was standing beside the huge purple lightning rock, smiled. Suddenly, a startling aura burst out from his body. Following that, the surrounding purple lightning started to gather wildly around Longao. Longao, who was cultivating, suddenly felt the purple lightning enter his body. Naturally, he knew what was happening. Xiao Chan felt somewhat grateful to Dugubai. However, the situation did not allow him to overthink. He focused on cultivating. Originally, according to Dugubai's estimation, Longao would need at least 7 days to reach the Human King realm from the 3rd metamorphosis. However, Longao had shortened this time to 4 days. When Longao opened his eyes, Dugubai sighed and said, Brother Long, I have to admit that your talent and potential is the strongest among all the people I've seen. After leaving the purple lightning boulder, Longao smiled and said, Many thanks to Brother Dugu for helping me this time. I can't express my gratitude with words. Brother Long, I'm really curious. What kind of secret technique did you use to instantly increase your strength and defeat Zhang Zhihong? Friend, Longao had already treated Dugu Bai as a friend. Thus, Longao did not hide anything. He said, Brother Dugu, have you heard of the nine-needle sealing god? Seeing Dugu Bai shake his head, Longao continued, the principle behind the nine-needle sealing god is very simple. It is nothing more than using the 9 needles to seal your 9 acupoints. Although the 9-needle sealing god can increase your strength for a short time, the backlash is very strong. If you are not careful, you will be consigned to eternal damnation. Dugu Bai nodded. He had an understanding expression as he said, Brother Long, since that is the case, I advise you not to use the 9-needle sealing god unless you have no other choice. I understand. Ha ha ha. Brother Long, you have already broken through to sovereign personage. Why don't we fight? It might be an opportunity for us. Longao did not refuse. Sometimes, a spar between cultivators was a very good thing for cultivators. Because of this, Longao and Dugu Bai didn't continue to talk. The two of them stared at each other. Powerful fighting intent exploded from their bodies. Before the battle started, the fighting intent had already collided fiercely. They were worthy of being the first rank on the wind cloud list. Just this fighting intent alone was enough to show disdain for their peers. Longao did not dare to be careless. Although it was a spar, if he did not go all out, it would be disrespectful to his friends. Instantly, Longao and Dugu Bai moved. In the blink of an eye, the two of them were already fighting. Thus, the two of them did not use any weapons. They fought barehanded. A Dao ancestor was a Dao ancestor after all. The difference between sovereign personage and Dao ancestor personage was very big. Thus, Longao went all out. He took out the God-sealing pearl and the God-punishing mirror. Then, he activated the two divine tools. A strange aura spread out, instantly enveloping the surrounding space. Dugu Bai, who was originally full of confidence, suddenly felt his body being locked down. Furthermore, he discovered that time had reversed. In his shock, his movements slowed. Brother Long, you win. The first place on the wind cloud list should be yours. Brother Dugu, you and I both know that if it was a life and death battle, I would definitely lose. Brother Dugu just did not go all out just now. Let's call this battle a draw. How about it? Ha, good, let's go. Dugu Bai appeared to be very happy. In truth, Dugu Bai was just being polite. It was as Longao had said, the difference in strength between the two of them was very large. If he were to go all out, Longao would undoubtedly lose. The difference between a Dao ancestor and an earthly sovereign was very big. They were not on the same level. Outside Thunder Valley, Xia Jun had been standing guard here. If anything happened to Longao, he could immediately enter Thunder Valley to rescue him. According to Xia Jun's estimation, Longao would need at least 7 days to train in Thunder Valley. In the following 2 days, he would go to Ghost Cry Ridge. But at this time, Xia Jun was very surprised to see 2 people walking out of the valley. It had only been 4 days, and they even came out together with Brother Dugu. Brother Dugu, Brother Long, why did the two of you come out together? Xia Jun naturally knew that Dugu Bai was training in Thunder Valley. But according to Dugu Bai's character, even if they met, he would not say anything. But now, it seemed that the two of them were clearly friends. Little June, Brother Long, and I hit it off at first sight. Just now, we actually ended in a draw. Hearing Dugu Bai's words, Longao was also somewhat surprised. With Dugu Bai's current status and strength, publicly admitting that they had ended in a draw was not good for him. Magnanimous. Longao began to admire this Dugu Bai beside him. Brother Long, your cultivation base has broken through? It had only been 4 days, and he was even able to fight Brother Dugu to a draw. Although there was a lot of exaggeration, it was enough to explain the problem. Because of that, Xia Jun was incomparably shocked. It's just a lucky breakthrough. Just a lucky breakthrough. Hearing Long Ao's words, Xia Jun's face revealed a trace of a bitter smile. Comparisons were truly odious. Chapter 206. Dugu Bai, Long Ao. and Xiaojun arrived at the pavilion and sat down. Big brother Dugu, brother Long, what happened? Xiaojun felt very curious. He did not know what happened between the two. How did Longao manage to make consecutive breakthroughs and reach medial grade sovereign personage in a short 4 days? Dugubai smiled as he roughly recounted what had just happened. After hearing it, Xiaojun sighed incessantly. Xiaojun clearly knew in his heart that Dugubai seemed to think highly of Longao. Otherwise, he would not have lent the huge purple lightning rock that he had painstakingly obtained for many years to Longao. However, this was good as well. With Dugubai and Longao's help, he was confident of dealing with the disciples of the other sects in the 6-sect competition for supremacy. Brother Long, forgive me for speaking bluntly. Earlier, I felt my body being locked down. Furthermore, the flow of time seemed to have changed. How did Brother Long do it? Hearing Dugubai's words, Xiaojun's ears perked up. He did not know what locking down his body and changing the flow of time meant. Longao did not hide much from Dugubai and Xiaojun. Big brother Dugu, brother Xia, I will not hide this from you too. The reason why I was able to defeat Zhang Zhihong and endure Zhang Mo's attack was because of 2 divine tools, the God-Punishing Mirror and the God-Sealing Pearl. So, it is the God-Punishing Pearl. Big brother Dugu, you recognize the God-Punishing Pearl? Longao felt very shocked. After all, he obtained the God-Punishing Pearl from the 3rd ancestor. Dugubai nodded and said, legend has it that the God-Punishing Pearl is an ancient divine tool. However, its whereabouts are unknown. Unexpectedly, the God-Punishing Pearl ended up in Brother Long's hands. So, that is the case. Brother Long, remember? However, do not reveal the God-Punishing Pearl in your hands. Otherwise, trouble will come endlessly. Longao nodded. How could he not know about Dugubai's worries? Just at this moment, Xiaojun suddenly said, Brother Long, can you let me feel the so-called God-Punishing Mirror and God-Sealing Pearl? No problem. Since Longao already said it, he was not afraid of the two finding out. He took out the God-Punishing Mirror and God-Sealing Pearl and released the two's energy, encasing them. With his body locked down, he could even clearly feel the flow of time. Xiaojun's face instantly changed. He really didn't know if he didn't sense it, but once he did, he was shocked. Putting away the God-Sealing Pearl and God-Punishing Mirror, Longao smiled and asked, Brother Xia, how do you feel? Powerful, Brother Long. I can say with certainty that as long as you have the God-Sealing Pearl and the God-Punishing Mirror, you will be invincible among sovereign personages. Even if you meet an earthly sovereign, I believe you will be able to fight. Although he was extremely unwilling to admit it, Xiaojun knew that with his current strength, it was still unknown whether he would win or lose if he were to fight with Longao. All right, Brother Long, Xiaojun, the battle of the 6 sects is about to begin. According to the sect, only the 3 of us from the Sound of Thunder sect will participate. Other than helping Brother Long to obtain the Sovereign Golden Core, we also have to kill the disciples of the 5 major sections. Longao already knew what Dugubai had said. Thus, he was not surprised at all. However, what Longao could not understand was why the Sound of Thunder sect would only send 2 people, Dugubai and Xiaojun. After all, the rules of the battle of the 6 sects were very clear. Every sect could send 10 disciples. As if he could see the doubts in Longao's heart, Dugubai said in a serious tone, Brother Long, I believe you are aware of the open and covert struggles between the 6 major sections. In order to reduce the number of casualties, the sect decided to only send me and Xiaojun to participate in the battle of the 6 sects. Now that you have joined, our chances will be much higher. Big brother Dugu, forgive me for speaking bluntly. If the Sound of Thunder sect can think of this, I believe the other 5 major sects will think of it as well. Longao did not continue speaking, but the meaning in his words was very clear. Nodding his head, Dugubai said, You are right. If there are no accidents, the other 5 major sects will send 2 or 3 disciples to this battle of the 6 sects. Adding up the disciples of the 6 major sects, there will be about 20 of them. I believe they should be in the top 20 of the Wind Cloud ranking. Longao knew clearly what Dugubai meant. The Battle of the Six Sects for the Sovereign Golden Core was actually a battle between the top 20 disciples of the Wind Cloud ranking. It was no wonder that the Sound of Thunder sect wanted to kill these disciples. Big Brother Dugu, my father and I have talked for a while. In this Battle of the Six Sects, the Ghost King sect and the Golden Sun sect will definitely join forces. Therefore, we must be careful. Also, Miao Cheng will also participate in the Battle of the Six Sects. Miao Cheng? Hearing Xia Jun mention Miao Cheng, Longao did not feel the slightest bit unfamiliar. The top 3 on the Wind Cloud ranking were Dugu Bai, Miao Cheng, and Zhang Zhihong. Now that Zhang Zhihong's ranking had been replaced by Longao, the Wind Cloud ranking had been revised. The first was Dugu Bai, the second was Miao Cheng, and the third was himself. As everyone knew, Zhang Zhihong's strength could not compete with the top 2 of the top 3 on the Wind Cloud ranking. The difference in strength was too great. Zhang Zhihong was only a peak Earth sovereign martial artist, but Dugu Bai and Miao Cheng were genuine Dao ancestors. Dugu Bai was a peak Dao ancestor martial artist, while Miao Cheng was an advanced Dao ancestor martial artist. Hearing that Miao Cheng would also participate in the Battle of the Six Sects, Dugu Bai's face became somewhat dignified. Big Brother Dugu, Miao Cheng has been wanting to defeat you for so many years, but he has never found a chance. It is said that after a year of closed-door cultivation, Miao Cheng's cultivation has officially broken through the peak Dao ancestor level. In this Battle of the Six Sects, Miao Cheng will definitely challenge you to fight for the first place on the Wind Cloud ranking. Dugu Bai and Miao Cheng's talent was almost the same, but Dugu Bai's comprehension was better than Miao Cheng's. Therefore, Dugu Bai's strength had always been above Miao Cheng's for so many years. The second place would always be the second place. No one would be willing to be the second place forever. Because of this, Miao Cheng chose to go into closed-door cultivation for a year. He was lucky. Just as the Battle of the Six Sects was about to begin, Miao Cheng's cultivation had smoothly broken through the peak Dao ancestor level, and he was ready to fight for the first place on the Wind Cloud ranking. Dugu Bai knew very well that Miao Cheng's cultivation breakthrough meant that their realms were equal. If they really fought, it was hard to tell who would win and who would lose. Dugu Bai's face was full of confidence. He said, I also want to see how strong Miao Cheng's strength is. Let's not talk about this. Brother Long, the Battle of the Six Sects is about to begin. Master wants us to go to the Crying Ghost Ridge in advance to familiarize ourselves with the environment there. No problem. Longao's cultivation had smoothly broken through to the Human King realm. He was a little impatient because there was only one stage left in the 3 stages. As long as he could obtain the Sovereign Golden Core, he could go to the Ghost King sect and take away Aoshue. Chapter 207. Tianzhou, the border between the Inferno sect and the Sound of Thunder sect. A huge mountain range rose and fell like a giant dragon. The entire mountain range was majestic and was shrouded in fog all year round. In front of the huge mountain range, Brother Long, the Crying Ghost Ridge is within the mountain range. Looking at the huge mountain range in front of him, Longao felt relaxed because the entire mountain range had the ability to devour everything. It was like a giant dragon opening its mouth, swallowing the sky and the sun. The entire mountain range stretched as far as the eye could see. Longao never thought that the Crying Ghost Ridge would be within the mountain range. Not only Longao, but even Xia Jun's side. It was not Xia Jun's first time here, but every time he came, he could not help but shudder as if he would be swallowed by the mountain range. Taking a deep breath, Xia Jun said, Brother Long, this mountain range is majestic. There was once a rumor that a senior stood at the bottom of the mountain range and looked at it. From there, he gained enlightenment and his strength broke through continuously, reaching the Void World Emperor realm. Longao nodded. He did not doubt Xia Jun's words at all. This was because he had already discovered that the entire mountain range was formed naturally. Other than giving off a majestic aura, it was as if the entire mountain range had merged with the heavens and earth. Within 1,000 miles of the entire mountain range, there's no one. Big Brother Dugu, why is that? Brother Long, you don't know. In the mountain range, There's a huge valley that's shrouded in clouds all year round. It's filled with resentment and yin energy. Every once in a while, this yin energy will spread out. Anyone who is shrouded in it will commit suicide. Hearing these words, Longao also sucked in a breath of cold air. There was no need to experience it personally. Just by thinking about it, one could imagine how terrifying the yin energy in the Crying Ghost Ridge was. Longao could not figure out why the 6 major sects would choose such a place to hold the so-called 6-sect battle royale. Were they looking for trouble? Brother Long, there's one more thing. According to generations of contenders, there's a forbidden area in the Crying Ghost Ridge. No matter what happens, don't enter the forbidden area. Forbidden area? The forbidden area in the Crying Ghost Ridge is the place with the densest yin energy in the entire mountain range. Even if a void warrior enters, he will be corroded by the yin energy and die without a burial place. Longao was startled. He knew very well what it meant to be a void realm cultivator. Even a void realm cultivator could not enter the forbidden land. One could imagine how terrifying the forbidden land of the Crying Ghost Ridge was. Brother Long, back then, many warriors from the 6 great sects entered the Crying Ghost Ridge forbidden land, but none of them came out. Because of this, many warriors placed a stone tablet outside the forbidden land. On it was written, Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Land, Death to Trespassers. Hearing Dugubai's solemn words, Longao naturally wouldn't send himself to his death. Of Dugu. Dugu. Both Longao and Xiajun knew the seriousness of the matter. They nodded and said in unison, Big Brother Dugu, we understand. The 6 major sects, Ghost King Sect, Blood Sea Sect, Wind Lightning Sect, Golden Sun Sect, Blazing Flame Sect, and Sound of Thunder Sect, each sent 10 disciples to participate in the 6-sect tournament. However, they did not send 10 disciples. The 6 major sects were not fools. The 6 major sects were fighting for the sovereign golden pill. It was a battle between experts and geniuses. No matter how many people they sent, they would only be sending themselves to their deaths. Disciples who could enter the wind cloud list were all geniuses. The 6 major sects were not willing to lose them. It was unknown if it was intentional or just a coincidence, but the 6 major sects only sent 2 disciples. The 6 major sects had a total of 12 people. Including Longao, there were 13 people. It could be said that the 13 people from the 6 major sects were all ranked in the top 20 of the wind cloud list. They were geniuses among geniuses. Dusk. The disciples of the 6 major sects, including the master of the 6 major sects, were all present. They each occupied their own territory because the 6-sect tournament would officially begin tomorrow morning. At that time, the 13 people would try their best to fight for the Sovereign Golden Pill. The Sovereign Golden Pill was currently in Zhang Mo's custody. Under pressure, he could only hand it over. The 6 major sects would enter the Crying Ghost Ridge and place it in a designated location. Later on, the 13 people would fight for the Sovereign Golden Pill. As long as they could bring it out, it would be considered a success. As long as the Sovereign Golden Pill did not leave the Crying Ghost Ridge, the others could fight for it. The Sound of Thunder sect sent 2 people, Xiajun and Dugubai. As for Longao, he did not belong to any sect. He could be considered to be an independent participant in the 6-sect tournament. Longao, I have something to talk to you about. How about it? Duhashuan, I have nothing to talk to you about. Longao despised Duhashuan to the extreme. If he was strong enough, he would have attacked long ago. Duhashuan did not leave. He sneered and said, If you don't want anything to happen to Linghu Ning and Isoul, follow me. Hearing about Linghu Ning and Isoul, Longao's face instantly darkened. He could guess what had happened. If there was no accident, Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian should have captured the 2 of them. Brother Long, what happened? Dugabai and Xiajun could naturally see that something was wrong. As for the grudge between the Blood River sect and Longao, the 2 of them naturally knew about it. Their faces were filled with worry. Waving his hand, Longao said, I'll deal with this myself. After all, the other party was the Blood River sect. Longao did not want to implicate his friends, so he coldly followed Du Hushuan. Soon, They arrived at the Blood River sect's territory. Longao, we meet again. Guanfeng, where are Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul? Longao's face was extremely gloomy. He knew very well that if it were not for him, Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul would not have been captured. In the end, he had implicated his friends and the two of them. All right, if that's the case, I'll get straight to the point. This time, when we enter the Crying Ghost Ridge, you have to help me get the Sovereign Golden Pill. Impossible. Longao rejected without even thinking. This time, he had entered the Crying Ghost Ridge to participate in the Six Sects battle of the Six Sects to compete for the Sovereign Golden Pill. That was to take Ao Shui away. How could he give it to the Blood Sea sect? Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul are in my hands. I won't give you the Sovereign Golden Pill. If anything happens to Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul, I won't let the Blood River sect off. I'd like to see how many people in the Blood River sect can withstand my assassination. Longao definitely had the right to be arrogant. He had defeated Zhang Zhihong and taken a hit from Zhang Imo. If Longao really wanted to assassinate them, it would indeed be troublesome. The Blood River sect would probably suffer a great loss. Many thanks for everyone's support. The subscriptions are very good, so I'll continue with 30 chapters tomorrow. Please give your monthly tickets to Little 9. Thank you. Chapter 208. As expected, you are loyal. Guanfeng was not angry at all. He smiled and said, "It's very simple. As long as you do something for me, I will let your two friends go. How about it? Tell me." Longao did not immediately agree to Guanfeng's request because he did not know what conditions Guanfeng would give him. Could it be that he had to give up on Aoshui? Longao, when you enter the Crying Ghost Ridge tomorrow, you have to help me take something out. Remember, do not tell anyone about this, or else. Guanfeng did not finish his words, but the meaning of his words was very clear. Guanfeng's spiritual sense transmitted into his mind. Longao's expression changed slightly, but he still agreed in the end because he could not let anything happen to his friends. Looking at the youth who had already left, Du Hushuan said worriedly, "Master, with Longao's strength, once he enters that place, won't he die?" Du Hushuan did not understand. If he wanted to kill Longao, why did he have to go through so much trouble? With the strength of the Blood Sea sect, it was simply a matter of minutes. The secret on Longao's body is far beyond our knowledge. So, if Longao enters that place, he might really be able to take out that treasure. I am looking forward to it. Master, Longao's secret. Are we just going to give up like this? Du Hushuan was not an idiot. Of course, he knew what it meant to lock onto martial artists and change the flow of time. Once the sect obtained it, the overall strength of the Blood Sea sect would increase. However, Guanfeng shook his head and said, "Let's talk about this later. As long as the Blood Sea sect can obtain this treasure, dominating the Tianzhou region will not be a problem." Although he was unwilling in his heart, Du Hushuan did not continue to say anything. Du Hushuan did not know what the master was thinking. If Longao died in the Crying Ghost Ridge, then the method to lock onto martial artists and change the flow of time would be lost. Brother Long, did the Blood Sea sect make things difficult for you? Seeing Dugu Bai and Xiajun's worry, Longao smiled and did not say anything. It's fine. The Blood Sea sect only wanted to rope me in. I rejected them. Although they were curious, Dugu Bai and Xiajun did not say anything. Xiajun snorted coldly. Of the 6 sects, the Blood Sea sect is the most shameless. Brother Long, you have to be careful. Got it. Let's go. Father is looking for us. Longao, Dugu Bai, and Xiajun arrived in front of Xiafeng. No matter what, the 6 sects battle royale would officially begin tomorrow morning. At that time, they would have to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge. The 3 of you, listen up. The Sovereign Golden Pill has been placed in the Crying Ghost Ridge. This time, when you enter to fight for the Sovereign Golden Pill, do not enter the forbidden area. Do you understand? Seeing the 3 of them nod, Xiafeng still seemed to be a little worried. Regardless of whether it was Dugu Bai or Xiajun, the sect could not afford to lose them. No matter what happens, even if I don't want the Sovereign Golden Pill, You have to come out alive. Don't worry, father. We will definitely come out alive. All right, go and rest. We will begin tomorrow morning. Longao, Xiajun, and Dugu by immediately entered a state of cultivation. Because there were less than 12 hours until the six sects battle royale, they had to maintain their peak condition. Otherwise, if they were to relax, they would fall into a state of eternal damnation. Within the dragon seal space, with Xiafeng holding the fort, Longao was not worried at all. Therefore, his soul entered the dragon seal space without any restraint. Long Fu, can the dragon seal space absorb the baleful Qi? It turned out that Guanfeng wanted Longao to enter the forbidden area of the Crying Ghost Ridge to search for a treasure as a condition for the safety of Linghu Ning and Isol. As a friend, Longao clearly knew that he had to agree. Yes, but master, the dragon seal space is heavily damaged. I believe that even if it can absorb the baleful Qi, it won't be of much use. However, master, there is someone who can help you solve all your problems. Who? Longao was surprised. He did not know who could help him solve the baleful Qi. Could it be that Long Fu knew someone else? Long Ming can help you, little guy? Longao was even more surprised. He asked, Long Fu, how can this little guy help me? Master, you don't know. This little guy is from the Nine Netherworld Tiger clan. Furthermore, it has mutated and is the natural nemesis of the baleful Qi. If it can absorb enough baleful Qi, not only can it use the sovereign golden pill to rapidly increase its strength, it can also bring you and Long Chong to break through together. It would be a lie if he said that he was not surprised. Long Fu, will it be dangerous for this little guy to absorb the baleful Qi? No. Hearing that there was no danger for this little guy to absorb the baleful Qi, Long Ao finally let out a sigh of relief. In the following days, Long Ao wholeheartedly entered a state of meditation. The night was silent. On the second day, the first light of dawn had just arrived. The 13 people from the 6 major sects were already on the move. Each of them looked at each other vigilantly, fearing that they would be ambushed. Long Ao and the other 2 were the last to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge. As soon as they stepped in, the 3 of them could not help but shiver. A gust of baleful Qi rushed towards them. If they did not block it in time, the baleful Qi alone would be enough to corrode their bodies and souls. Brother Long, Xiaojun, you must be careful. This is only the outermost baleful Qi. When we enter the depths of the Crying Ghost Ridge later, the baleful Qi will become stronger. Hearing this, Long Ao and Xiajun both wanted to cry and laugh. Such a terrifying baleful Qi was only in the outermost area. The 2 of them could not imagine how terrifying the baleful Qi would be once they entered the depths of the Crying Ghost Ridge. Not daring to be careless, the 3 of them became vigilant. While resisting the baleful Qi, they also had to deal with the disciples of the other sects who could start a fight at any time. This 6 sects battle royale was nominally to compete for the sovereign golden pill. However, the 6 sects did not have any rules that forbade killing each other. Long Ao, I would like to see who can help you today. At this moment, Zhang Zhihong's voice sounded. At this moment, Zhang Zhihong, Gui Li, Gui Tu, and Hao Zheng walked over. Zhang Zhihong and Hao Zheng belonged to the Golden Sun sect, while Gui Li and Gui Tu belonged to the Ghost King sect. The 2 sects had joined forces to kill Long Ao and have a chance to obtain the sovereign golden pill. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes turn red. Zhang Zhihong was ranked 3rd on the wind cloud list, but he was defeated by Long Ao in front of everyone, dropping from 3rd to 4th. Zhang Zhihong would definitely settle this score. Also, if it wasn't for Long Ao's interference in his wedding with Aoshue, he believed that he would have already gotten the beauty back. In the end, the culprit was this person in front of him. Zhang Zhihong, do you have any shame? Stopping the angry Xiajun, Long Ao only sneered, you're just a loser. Chapter 209. A Loser. Zhang Zhihong was indeed a loser under Long Ao's hands, even if he was unwilling to admit it. In this life, Zhang Zhihong's greatest shame was losing to Long Ao. Moreover, it was in front of everyone in the world. He had completely lost everything. Zhang Zhihong's face was cold as he clenched his fists tightly. This time, Zhang Zhihong gathered the strength of 4 people to eliminate Longao. However, at this moment, Dugu Bai, who had been silent all this while, suddenly said, "Zhang Zhihong, it seems like you're very arrogant." Hearing Dugu Bai's words, Zhang Zhihong's heart thumped. Forcing a smile, Zhang Zhihong said, "Big brother Dugu, this is a personal grudge between me and Longao. I hope Big brother Dugu won't interfere." Zhang Zhihong was currently ranked 4th on the wind cloud list. Longao had replaced him, and he was now ranked 3rd. Others might not know, but how could Zhang Zhihong not know how big the gap between him, Dugu Bai, and Miaocheng was? Tao Ancestor, an existence at the peak of the transformation realm. Personal grudge? Dugu Bai sneered. Dugu Bai was emitting a powerful aura. There was no need to fight. Everyone's aura had already lost to Dugu Bai. This was the capital of strength. Big brother Dugu, could it be that you want to interfere? Zhang Zhihong was no fool. Of course he knew that Dugu Bai was acting like this because he wanted to interfere in this matter. Because of this, his expression became extremely gloomy and unsightly. Zhang Zhihong knew that if Dugu Bai really interfered, the consequences would be unimaginable. Not to mention killing Longao. He might not even be able to leave Crying Ghost Ridge alive. Dugu Bai, long time no see. How have you been? At this moment, the young master of Blazing Flame sect, Huatang, and another youth walked over with a cold and lazy expression. Seeing Huatang and Huatang, Zhang Zhihong's face turned even uglier. On the wind cloud list, there were 2 people that he feared the most. They were the first on the wind cloud list, Dugu Bai, and the second, Miaocheng. Now that the competition for the Sovereign Golden Pill had not officially started, and Dugu Bai and Miaocheng were already here, who would dare to continue? Blazing Flame sect and Sound of Thunder sect were the 2 most popular sects in the competition for the Sovereign Golden Pill. So it's Miaocheng. After a year of closed-door training, you finally broke through to the peak of the Tao Ancestor realm. Congratulations. Brother Dugu, there's no need to be so courteous. I've been in seclusion for a year because of you. Since we've met here, why don't we have a battle? I really want to see if Brother Dugu is still as powerful as before. Defeating Dugu Bai was Miaocheng's lifelong wish. Otherwise, Miaocheng would not have gone into closed-door cultivation for a year. At this moment, Dugu Bai and Miaocheng were both warriors at the peak of the Tao Ancestor realm. If they fought, it would be hard to tell who would win. However, Dugu Bai smiled and said, "Miaocheng, if you want to fight, I'll accompany you at any time. However, I can't do that now, because I want to seize the Sovereign Golden Core." Well, since Brother Dugu doesn't want to fight with me, then I'll compete with Brother Dugu and see if I can get the Sovereign Golden Core first. Looking at the 2 who were like fire and water, everyone felt extremely depressed. Whether it was Miaocheng or Dugu Bai, they were both genuine warriors at the peak of the Tao Ancestor realm. If the 2 of them were determined to get the Sovereign Golden Core, wouldn't the others have no chance at all? Longao, fight with me if you have the guts. I've just said that you're just a loser. Longao, Xiajun and Dugu Bai were too lazy to care about Zhang Zhihong. They turned and left. With Dugu Bai's deterrence, Zhang Zhihong dared not to speak out or attack. He could only feel anger in his heart. Longao, I'll tear you to pieces sooner or later. The 3 of them went straight to the location of the Sovereign Golden Core. According to Xiafeng, the location of the Sovereign Golden Core was very dangerous, so everyone had to be alert and not be careless. Brother Dugu, Miaocheng is obviously targeting you this time, so we have to be careful. Dugu Bai nodded. He knew Xiajun's worries and said, Miaocheng is very talented, but he's too narrow-minded. Otherwise, he would have reached the Void Realm long ago. Sigh, it was all for nothing. Brother Dugu, what should we do now? Help Brother Long get the Sovereign Golden Core. I'll fight with Miaocheng next. It's time to settle the grudge between us. Dugu Bai and Miaocheng represented the 2 strongest people in the younger generation of Tianzhou. Because of this, both Miaocheng and Dugu Bai wanted to fight for the first place. Especially Miaocheng, he always dreamed of defeating Dugu Bai. Brother Long, it's obvious that Zhang Zhihong, Guili, and the others are here for you in the Six Sects battle of the Six Sects. Therefore, you should be extra careful. If we're separated, you just need to leave this place as soon as possible. As for the Nine Heavens Supremacy Pill, I'll definitely get it for you. Thank you. The Crying Ghost Mountain Range was covered in black fog all year long. It was also filled with resentment and in-chi. If one stayed in the Crying Ghost Mountain Range for too long, they would be corroded by the in-chi. If they couldn't get rid of it, they would become a complete killer. Once their heart was corroded, they would become nothing more than a tool for killing. Because of this, no one was willing to step into the Crying Ghost Mountain Range. As for why the Six Sects chose this place, they all had their own motives. Deep in the Crying Ghost Mountain Range, on top of a huge rock, there was a small hole with a golden core placed inside. It was the sovereign golden core. The sovereign golden pellet was formed by the accumulation of all the energy of a martial saint after his death. It was extremely beneficial to a martial saint. Once consumed by a martial saint, the chances of breaking through to the martial saint realm would be greatly increased. This was also the real reason why everyone wanted to obtain the sovereign golden pellet. The sovereign golden pill was personally placed by the six great sects, so the disciples naturally knew the exact location of the sovereign golden pill. It was precisely because of this that in less than 8 people, 13 people had already gathered around the huge rock, each of them staring intently at the sovereign golden pill within the huge rock. None of the 13 people acted rashly, because everyone knew that once someone made the first move, they would immediately be attacked by the group. Therefore, everyone was waiting for someone to lose his patience. Just like this, time passed bit by bit. The sovereign golden core was clearly in front of them, but no one went up to fight for it. It was a strange phenomenon. Everyone was afraid of the others. The two strongest among them, Miao Cheng and Dugubai, also didn't dare to act rashly. Although they were peak Dao ancestors, it was not worth it to become the target of everyone's attack. What's more, Miao Cheng had been staring at Dugubai. His intention was very clear. He wanted to stop Dugubai from snatching the sovereign golden core. Chapter 210. Brother Long. Wait for me and Big Brother Dugu to distract the others. You go and snatch the sovereign golden core. How could Long Ao not know Xiaojun's intention? But could he do that? As a friend, Long Ao knew that he had to think for his friend. He couldn't harm his friend, so Long Ao wouldn't agree. Little June is right. Brother Long, success or failure depends on this. Miao Cheng and I can't avoid a battle. Since that's the case, I'll fight him later. Without waiting for Dugu Bai to finish speaking, Long Ao's body suddenly moved. He couldn't implicate Xiaojun and Dugu Bai. Thinking of this, Long Ao decisively made the first move. Seeing Long Ao's sudden action, both Xiaojun and Dugu Bai were deeply moved. How could they not know what Long Ao meant? Without any hesitation, Dugu Bai and Xiaojun also rushed out. Long Ao's first move completely shocked everyone. But at this moment, a shocking scene occurred. Everyone's face was filled with disbelief. It turned out that when Long Ao shot out, he had already activated the God Sealing Pearl and the God Punishing Mirror. Not only did he lock onto everyone around him, but he also made the time flow backward by 3 seconds. For others, 3 seconds of time flow was equivalent to Long Ao's speed could be accelerated by 3 seconds. What kind of concept was that? He had to admit that the God Punishing Mirror and God Sealing Pearl were indeed powerful. But the consumption of soul energy was also terrifying. But since things had already reached this stage, Long Ao couldn't care about anything else. Just when everyone, including Miao Cheng, was shocked, Long Ao had already successfully arrived on top of the boulder. His heart was filled with joy. Enduring the weakness of his soul, he took out the sovereign golden core from the boulder. But at this moment, a ray of light shot out from the bottom of the sovereign golden core. With a scream, Long Ao's body was sent flying. His soul was heavily injured. If it wasn't for Long Fu using the Dragon Seal space to block half of the attack, just this attack alone would have been enough to take Long Ao's life. Seeing Long Ao flying out, Ghostly and Zhang Zhihong were overjoyed. They both knew that with Dugu Bai and Miao Cheng fighting, they had no hope of obtaining the sovereign golden core. Because of this, Zhang Zhihong and Miao Cheng shot towards Longao. Xia Jun and Dugu Bai were also shocked. They didn't dare to hesitate. They also shot towards Longao. However, Miao Cheng would not give Dugu Bai the chance to do so. He directly went to find Dugu Bai. Regardless of whether Dugu Bai was willing or not, he directly attacked. Not only that, it was unknown whether it was intentional or not, but the others also entangled Xia Jun at the same time. This way, Longao became alone, and his soul was heavily injured. The situation was extremely dangerous. His soul was heavily injured. When his soul was attacked, Longao immediately understood what was going on. If he guessed correctly, the soul attack from the sovereign golden core was done by Zhang Amo to kill him. If it wasn't for Long Fu's help, he would have already died. Zhang Amo was shameless to the extreme. Enduring the weakness of his soul, Longao turned around and shot towards the distance. Zhang Zhihong and the rest clearly didn't intend to let him go. They immediately chased after him. Zhang Zhihong, if you dare to touch Longao, I'll tear you to pieces. Although he was afraid of Dugu Bai, Zhang Zhihong did not place Dugu Bai in his heart in this sort of situation. That was because Zhang Zhihong had already decided that even if he had to provoke Dugu Bai, he would still kill Longao. Cutting the weeds and eliminating the roots, aside from getting back his face, it was also to eliminate all future troubles. Dugu Bai and Xia Jun were infuriated to the extreme. But the two of them were tightly entangled and couldn't get away to save Longao. Dugu Bai and Xia Jun could imagine that Longao, who was heavily injured, could resist Zhang Zhihong's pursuit? The answer was obviously no, even if Longao had the God-punishing mirror and God-sealing pearl. Longao felt weak in his mind, but he was still holding on. Longao knew clearly that once he couldn't hold on, he would definitely die. Unknowingly, Longao was chased to the point where he had nowhere to go. He came to a place with extremely terrifying baleful chi. There was a stone slab in front of him, with the words Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds. Trespassers shall die. Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds. In a daze, Longao looked at the words on the stone slab. He knew clearly that he had been chased to the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds. Before entering the Crying Ghost Ridge, no matter if it was Dugu Bai, Xia Jun, or Xia Fong, they had repeatedly warned him not to enter the forbidden area of the Crying Ghost Ridge at any time. That was because no one who entered the Crying Ghost Ridge could come out alive. However, things had already reached this point. Did he have the right to choose? Even if he was unwilling to enter, Longao still chose to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds in the end. Actually, Longao and Guanfeng had already agreed that Longao would enter the Forbidden Grounds to retrieve an item. However, he would have to enter in perfect condition. Longao's soul was heavily injured. Whether he entered or not, he would die. Since he would die either way, Longao wasn't willing to die at the hands of Zhang Zhihong and the others. Without further hesitation, Longao shot out like an arrow. In the blink of an eye, he had already entered the Forbidden Grounds. Black mist swirled around, making it impossible to see the situation inside the Forbidden Grounds. Zhang Zhihong, Ghostly, and the others naturally didn't have the guts to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds. They all stared at the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds in front of them. Zhang Zhihong suddenly sneered. Longao, you asked for it. You can't blame others. Zhang Zhihong, I'll kill you. Dugu Bai and Xia Jun rushed over. When they saw Longao being forced to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds, the two were completely enraged. They ignored everything and shot towards Zhang Zhihong and Ghostly, startled. Zhang Zhihong and Ghostly naturally didn't dare to face Dugu Bai head-on. Under normal circumstances, the two of them wouldn't be able to escape. However, the current situation was different. Without taking revenge for Dugu Bai, Miao Cheng rushed out and fiercely fought with Dugu Bai. Miao Cheng, you and I can fight at any time. I'll kill them first. Sneering in his heart, Miao Cheng was no fool. He naturally knew that Dugu Bai's state of mind was in chaos. This was the perfect opportunity for him to make his move. In his entire life, Miao Cheng had always wanted to defeat his opponent. Why would he give up such a rare opportunity so easily? Miaocheng didn't say anything. Just like this, each move was stronger than the last. Xia Jun's result was the same. He was besieged by Zhang Zhihong and Ghostly. In just a few minutes, he was already riddled with wounds. Whether it was Dugubai or Xia Jun, the two of them clearly knew that if this continued, the two of them would definitely lose. As the saying goes, revenge is never too late. There was no need to fight head-on. Because of this, Dugubai and Xia Jun fiercely pushed the crowd away and quickly left. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.